48 Wednesday, requiring elementary and high schools to teach cursive writing. Boston pulled away in the fourth quarter for a victory over the visiting Bulls in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff set, 108-97. Pirates hang on to beat the Cubs 6-5 at PNC. Was the White Sox finishing off a 3-game sweep of the Royals with a 5-2 win. Bears on the clock as the NFL draft kicks off with the first round tonight. The news, a service of Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care users say they don't know how it works, but it gets the job done. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. 5:06, and a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
By now, you've had your chance to watch the mainstream media do everything they can to destroy President Donald Trump. Any pretense of being fair and impartial is now history. While all these years they were playing a game trying to disguise their true intentions. Now it's simply Katie bar the door. Certain networks seem to have abandoned whatever journalistic credibility they once held dear. So what to do? Where do you turn? How can you know what's really going on? Just keep it right here. We'll get you through. AM 560, The Answer.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, GreatParkingLots.com. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
5:08. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. We do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On the inbound Candidate Division, there's a crash. 2 left lanes are blocked, plus a right lane. As we look at this on the jam cam there, traffic's starting to get a little heavy approaching Division. The other expressways and tollways are looking pretty good despite the conditions. Flight boards at O'Hare show just a very small number of delays. Crews remain at the scene in Woodstock of an overnight incident involving a pedestrian and a train. This is near the intersection of Jackson and Madison in Woodstock, and trains have finally started moving again. Or train 601, which had been stopped for hours, that's now on the move, but things are behind schedule on the Union Pacific Northwest line. In Bartlett, Stearns Road remains blocked at 59 after a gas leak. That incident started yesterday afternoon. Traffic is a service of Staples. HP Savings Month at Staples means big savings on great HP products all month long. Now get up to $100 at an HP OfficeJet Pro printer. It's lightning fast. Two-sided printing saves you money. Ends 4/29. Restrictions apply. See staples.com/HP month. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
For today, a brief shower or two for the morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high 53. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low 43. Remaining mostly cloudy tomorrow with occasional rain in the afternoon, high 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have rain showers, 60 degrees. Next news at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Trump rolls out his tax plan yesterday, and at first blush, it does live up to the description of huge. You can make the argument that it is actually
Huge.
a bigger cut than Reagan's in the 80s, 81, 86, when taken combined. Here's Gary Cohn, his National Economic Council director, explaining the plan and providing a little bit of context in terms of where we have gone over the last 80 years as it pertains to complication with the tax code, how labor intensive complying with the tax code is, how Byzantine it is.
First, here are a few statistics for you on the individual side. In 1935, we had a one-page tax form consisting of 34 lines with 2 pages of instructions. Today, the basic 1040 form has 79 lines and 211 pages of instructions. Instead of a single form, the IRS now has 199 tax forms on the individual side of our tax code. Taxpayers spend nearly 7 billion hours complying with these tax codes every year, and nearly 90% of taxpayers need some help in filing their taxes.
So that's a little bit of context in terms of why simplification of rates, of loopholes, the whole system is warranted. And so he explains then the component parts, at least the top lines.
We are going to cut taxes and simplify the tax code by taking the current 7 tax brackets we have today and reducing them to only 3 brackets: a 10% bracket, a 25% bracket, and a 35% bracket. We're going to double the standard deduction so that a married couple won't pay any taxes on the first $24,000 of income they earn.
Okay.
And let's remember something about who pays federal income taxes in this country. The top 50% of Americans pay 97.3% of all federal income taxes. So the top 50% of American income earners. The top 5% pay 60%. The top 1% pay 40%. So this idea that somehow the tax system lacks fairness at the top or even in the middle, that's I think it's a difficult case to make out based on the percentage of overall taxes that is represented by these these groupings we talk about, the top 1%, 10%, 25%, 50%. The bottom 50% in this country pay virtually no income tax. The good thing, bad thing? You can make the argument about stake in the game. You can make the argument that...
Well, what about eliminating most deductions in charitable and mortgage interest rates? I mean, that was a question.
We are going to eliminate on the personal side all tax deductions other than mortgage interest and charitable deductions.
All right. So what does that mean?
Well, that the mortgage and charitable deductions won't be eliminated, which are the most popular ones.
Good. All right.
So that's important to note, in addition to the standard deduction being doubled. But just in terms of fairness of the system, because there's 2 arguments that are made. One is a fairness argument, and again, going on the distribution of taxes paid by income earnings or income earners as groups in this country. Top 50%, 97.2%. Top 1%, 40%. Top 5%, 60%. So if you want to argue fairness, the tax system is unfair because you're going to hear this as, disproportionate tax relief for the rich and so forth, then tell me what the numbers are. Tell me what the numbers are that would provide metaphysical fairness in the tax code, considering where we've gone with taxation since the institution of the income tax in 1913. It has been a rather ignominious 100 years or so, particularly when the left is in charge, and what they sell is taxes on the rich. What you get is confiscatory, growth-stunting taxation on the middle. That's what actually happens. Cohn also talked about 2 other important things: eliminating the alternative minimum tax and the estate tax.
Therefore, we are going to return the top capital gains tax rate and dividend rate to 20%, repealing the harmful 3.8% Obamacare tax on dividends and capital gains. That's tax has been a direct hit on investment income and small business owners. We're going to repeal the death tax. The threat of being hit by the death tax leads small business owners and farmers in this country to waste countless hours and resources on complicated estate planning to make sure their children aren't hit with a huge tax when they die. No one wants to see their children have to sell the family business to pay an unfair tax.
Great news.
Yeah, I would say, and then Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, took to the stage, and he basically let out, look, here's the objective of this whole thing.
Our objective is to make U.S. businesses the most competitive in the world.
So they're going to lower the corporate sales tax from 35 to 15, or did they end up on 20?
Corporate income tax. 15%. 15% across. I mean, these are substantial structural tax cuts, and also simplification. The idea of going from 7 brackets to 3 brackets, 10, 25, and 33, with reductions across the board. This is major progress. If anything resembling what they propose passes, and I don't see why it shouldn't, with Republicans in control of both chambers, then you're talking about unleashing a lot of growth potential in this country. This is very good news from the Trump administration. Sharon in Itasca, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I have a good positive feeling about this one. I listen to another station down the aisle, and I hear these Democrats always paraphrasingly saying, stick it to the rich. The only people they're sticking it to is themselves. I have a small business in DuPage County, and if I'm an S corporation, which means I have pass-through taxes. And if I could be taxed at 15%, I could easily double my business because I could become more competitive. And this is what a lot of we small business people are waiting at the starting gate to have happen. Number one. Number two, when you have a corporation, let's say in France or in Italy or in Germany, they keep their money parked there because they pay the taxes in Europe, and then they come here and they're charged another 36%. So he's trying to repatriate all that money to come back here to reinvest.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's positive. It's just a positive move. But the self-destructive Democrats, and that's my new name for them, they want to stick it to somebody so bad. They have no idea that small mom-and-pop businesses who maybe clear $80,000 on a slower year and can get up to $150 on a quick year, depending on what you do. I'm just throwing figures out there right now. That is going to benefit them a lot because if they could double their business, they could provide at least 1 or 2 people with good-paying full-time jobs. But economically, the Democratic left is completely ignorant, and I've been in business over 30 years. I can attest to this. We've been through the recession. We've been through good times, bad times. I have faith in what the president's doing at this time. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Sharon. Here's the thing about the left. They're not ignorant. They just have a different goal in mind. Their goal is not...
Well, they saw this... Oh, sorry.
Well, their goal is not for small businesses to be successful. I don't care about that. Your Sharon from Itasca is not their constituency. Their constituency is government dependence. And anything that frees people, that provides for more independence...
Scares them because they'll lose them as a voter, maybe?
Well, that's it. The job creation that this would engender because of exactly the anecdote that Sharon shared just about her business.
Well, all I kept hearing from the left yesterday is, oh, look, Trump now is lining his pockets with more money because this benefits him. I heard that over and over and over again.
Yeah, I understand. So that's the point. If you cannot address the substance of the matter, you attack your opponent. Now, you can listen to it over and over and say, okay, what about the plan? What about the plan for you and the other 330 million Americans not named Trump? What about that? Answer that question.
Well, what does it mean for, say, a family of 4 making $60,000 a year? I had a reporter asked that, and they said they didn't have it. But I mean, this is just one piece of paper that they brought out yesterday, and
a lot of it is this
complicated.
So family of 4 standard deduction doubles, depending on how much they give to charity, depending on whether they have a mortgage. I mean, you're talking about I don't know, $1,500 to The likely range would be $1,500 to $3,000 in tax relief.
Yeah.
It's pretty substantial, and its household income is $60,000.
Yeah, we had Stephen Moore on yesterday. He mentioned that.
Here's something else. The study, this was done a couple years ago, but it's very interesting too. Looking at tax burden, this was done by our Congressional Budget Office, actually. Tax burden, but including federal transfers. So how much I make plus how much I get in transfers. What's my net on transfers? So market income plus government transfers. And then you get into federal taxes paid. The lowest quintile, so break this up into fifths, the lowest 20% in terms of income earners, they end up plus 8,600. The second quintile, so now you're the 40% of the country, they end up plus 12,500. The middle quintile, so now you're at 60% of the country, they end up plus 9,100. The fourth quintile, so that's the 60 to 80%, so you're top, you're getting into your high income earners. They end up paying 700. The highest quintile, so the top 20% of income earners in this country, 46,500. The point is to say when you actually include not just taxes paid, but the benefits you receive from the government, you get an even more interesting picture as to the fair share argument, as to the who benefits argument, the huge bribing of people with their own money that happens by the federal government, taking from the top 40% to distribute some to the kind of middle 40% and provide such that the bottom 20% pays no income taxes, effectively is a net beneficiary of government transfers, right? So, you have to look at both sides of it to understand the complete nature of the scam here. We'll take more of your calls on this topic right after this.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Gatto Industrial Platers, Inc. is the specialist in zinc and zinc nickel plating. Gatto is big, they're good, and they're easy to work with. Their high production rack plating line has up to a 15-foot capacity to handle any zinc plating requirement. Gatto's 210,000 square foot facility can process 300 tons per day and offers complete custom packaging with available pickup and delivery in the Chicago metro area by Gatto's own fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 8,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
The number is 847-926-0700. Calling this number can bring thousands of extra dollars right to your pocket. The Art House Gallery, folks, is back in the Chicagoland area. So do you have any jewelry, diamonds, gold, silver, antiques? How about paintings, porcelain, or Fabergé? Maybe high-end pocket or wristwatches, Rolexes, Cartier, Tiffany, or Breitling? Well, if you do, call the Art House Gallery now at 847-926-0700. Get cash for your valuables today. Meet in their office in Highland Park or in the privacy of your own home or bank. Now, the Art House Gallery makes it easy and convenient. They're professional and respectful. Your items and collectibles may be worth thousands in cash paid, directly to you. So gather up your jewelry, diamonds, gold, antiques, paintings, high-end watches, and more, and call to schedule a meeting with the Art House Gallery. You'll be glad you did. Get cash for your valuables today. Call 847-926-0700. That's 847-926-0700 or online at chicagoarthousegallery.com.
They're here, circling over your head, and they're tracking you down. You feel overwhelmed, like you can't escape. You need a solution to get your back taxes filed, to put your life back on track. You need someone who can keep the vultures at bay and work directly with the IRS to leverage every opportunity to settle your tax debt. Mary Karpowitz, CEO of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, is licensed to represent you before the IRS. Don't let the IRS threaten you. You should never need to speak to them directly. Mary does that for you. Comprehensive Tax Solutions will help you settle your entire IRS tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest if you qualify. Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family owned in Chicagoland, can be a lifesaver for you. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call 708-478-6770 now.
Harvey owns a building and wants to save money by making his heating and cooling system more energy efficient.
Yes?
But Harvey's afraid of the cost and if he can get a return on his investment.
I am indeed.
Plus, he's nervous about disrupting the businesses that rent space in his building. Harvey doesn't know what to do with an HVAC system that's seen better days. The Air Comfort problem solvers to the rescue. Working as a team, the Air Comfort professionals find simple solutions that make a huge impact on building efficiency and operating costs with minimal or no disruptions to building operations. HVAC upgrades and retrofits from Air Comfort can save thousands of dollars per year. They save energy, reduce maintenance, and eliminate downtime. And buildings with better energy ratings command higher rents and selling prices and make tenants happy. Get real solutions from the Air Comfort team of problem solvers. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com and start saving money today. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Hey, spring is here, birds, bees, and of course seasonal allergies. And the last thing you need is a pillow you're allergic to. And yes, MyPillow is hypoallergenic, and you could wash and dry it at home. So good night's sleep is so important to your health. And for April, you'll receive the 50% discount on the MyPillow 4-pack, 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. There's a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee, and our good friend Mike Lindell manufactures them up in Minnesota and the good old US of A. So get 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy, or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about Trump's tax plan. He is prone to hyperbole, but I say he delivered the goods on his tax proposal. What does Jordan from Forest Park say? You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Just a minor point before I get to my main point. A single person making $10,350 in 2016 pays no taxes because you have to add in the personal exemptions. So it's kind of a minor point. I'm surprised the media didn't put that in there. But anyways, I think the main thing for this is that Trump is basically saying we're going to create more businesses, and this is how we're going to do it. And I don't know how anybody could argue that it would not result in more businesses starting. And I think that's great. Maybe you'll get some foreign companies that want to start businesses here because of the tax rate. Imagine that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think this is really a great idea. Now, you're going to have, the deficits and everything else. I mean, Trump's not interested in that anyways. We already know that from the infrastructure $1 trillion thing that will start as well. But I think that this is really great, and especially with the way he carved out for the pass-through entities that you're going to also pay this 15% rate. He just didn't do it for corporations.
That's right.
Small businesses there'll be a lot more small businesses that will develop, and as they grow, they'll hire more people.
Yeah.
So
thanks for the call, Jordan.
Great idea.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. On the whole deficit side, what this is going to do to debt and deficits, in addition to the hypocrisy of the left that has been a cheerleader for running up $20 trillion in debt and $80 trillion in unfunded liabilities, beyond the hypocrisy of it.
Well, they just forgot about the debt clock for 8 years.
They forget about the debt clock every time they are in power, and even when they're not in power, they continue to want to spend beyond our means. But the issue is twofold. One is that's a spend problem. That's a spend problem, and it's a structural infirmity problem with the federal government. Number two is, as we saw and we have seen repeatedly from the experience of reducing burdens and unleashing creative capacity, you end up with, laugh or curve argument this is, of course, but it's borne out to be true in real life. You end up with more revenue than you get with confiscatory tax
Yeah,
rates.
it pays for itself with growth.
Larry and Bartlett, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Two related concerns I have. Based on what was said yesterday, we're going to lose our deduction for real estate taxes, and I'm looking at buying a big house that's going to come along with an $18,000 real estate tax bill every year.
Mm-hmm.
That leads into, so I'm going to lose that. That leads into the second issue. With the elimination of most deductions, the adjusted gross income goes up, which means all 50 states in the country are going to be realizing a lot more income tax from their state income tax payments.
Well, here's the thing with respect to, particularly to the property tax matter that you described, because that's an issue near and dear to my heart in the state where we pay the highest property taxes in the nation. You know what that?
Mine too.
Yeah, you know, but Larry, I mean, you know what the fundamental problem there is? Not Trump's tax plan, Illinois' tax climate.
Yep.
Thanks for the call, Larry.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, look who's going on vacation. Jesse Waters announced last night that he's taking a break, and some breaking news on Ann Coulter. She is going to be at Berkeley today. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 56 degrees outside. This morning, we start in Syria, where Israel has attacked a huge Iranian arms supply depot. Intelligence sources tell Reuters today's Israeli military strike in an arms supply hub in Damascus that gets weapons from Tehran sent by commercial and military cargo planes. The suspect in a fatal shooting of a Delaware state trooper is still holed up in a home and shooting at police. Delaware State Police Colonel Nathan McQueen says the loss of a trooper overnight hits everyone hard.
This is a sad day for our state and for the Delaware State Police family. We ask that you keep the trooper's family and the members of the Delaware State Police family in your thoughts and prayers.
Police say the man is barricaded in a home in southern Newcastle County in the community of Middletown and is refusing to come out. GOP House Speaker Paul Ryan cheerleading the tax plan unveiled by the White House.
Pro-growth tax reform means that we will have lower rates. We will have a simpler tax code with fewer brackets, and we will have an IRS that exists only to serve the taxpayer.
Meantime, President Trump wants to curb what he calls long-time federal interference in local education.
For too long, the federal government has imposed its will on state and local governments. The result has been education that spends more and achieves far, far, far less.
The president signing an executive order directing the Education Department to review the federal role in education. United Airlines says it will offer up to as much as $10,000 to passengers who volunteer to give up seats on overbooked flights. The offer is one of several changes the airline is making after a passenger was dragged off a plane by Chicago's security officers earlier this month. The body of a 1-year-old girl, Samaja Crosby, has been found. Will County authorities issuing a press release late last night saying the girl was found in a home in the 300 block of Lewis Road in Joliet with the assistance of an attorney the family had obtained. Lawyers for a Chicago police officer charged with murder in the shooting death of Laquan McDonald are asking a judge to waive his court appearances. Meantime, during a hearing last week, Cook County Judge Vincent Gaughan said he would hold in contempt of court anyone who comes inside the courthouse with a sign or starts waving signs around. The Illinois Retirement Board is terminating the pension that imprisoned former U.S. House Speaker Dennis Hastert received for his service in the Illinois General Assembly. Boston pulls away from the Bulls late in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series. Celtics with a win, 108-97. Pirates over the Cubs. It was the White Sox sweeping out the Royals with a 5-2 win. The news service of Dove Men Plus Care. Have you heard that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care users say that it has some kind of clever formula designed to look after pits, and that makes Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant the smart choice. Pick up some at your local retailer today. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next. on AM 560.
It's spring. Time to get out. No, way out. Time to get inspired at Cabela's. Cabela's Camping Classic, your one stop before the campfire. Get 30% off Copper River tents and screen houses. Shop in store or online at Cabela's.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm almost 87 years old, and I have had irritable bowel syndrome. I really feel better at my age. I'm telling you, I was weak and weary and just afraid to go any place because of this irritable bowel thing, and now I'm doing better. My doctor's already taken me off I think that's the name of it, for your cholesterol. I did a test, and he said, you don't have extra cholesterol, and he took it away from me. Isn't that wonderful? I'm amazed. I really, truly am. I thought these old people on here giving these commercials were full of stuff, and they surely didn't mean it. And they do mean it.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
When it comes to your home, nothing's more important than your roof. Everything underneath depends on it, right? Even if it's not leaking just yet, you know it's important to be proactive and repair or replace it before you have a problem. And if you're in Chicagoland, the decision on who to call is easy. You call the Champion. That's Champion Roofing. For over 3 decades, Champion Roofing has provided great service and beautiful roofs at competitive prices. It starts with the Champion expertise. Using quality materials plus the latest high-tech equipment, Champion skilled tradesmen will complete your job on time and to your satisfaction. So if a new or repaired roof is on your list this spring, don't hesitate to call the Champion of Roofing now. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Call Champion Roofing today for your free estimate, 847-673-7663, or visit championroofing.com. That's 847-673-7663, or online at championroofing.com. 847-673-7663.
537. Check of the roads and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Everything is open again in Bartlett at Stearns Road and 59 after a gas leak had caused closure since yesterday afternoon. Inbound Kennedy, it's slow. The River Road toll to Canfield. A little heavy around Division after an earlier crash. 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 20. Eden's fine. The Eisenhower, 31 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop. Stevenson, 36 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Ryan has delays in the express lanes. 59th to 43rd. The left lane is blocked. The locals are clear in that area. Delays resume at 35th, and it's 19 minutes from 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Cabela's. It's spring. Time to get out. No way out. Time to get inspired at Cabela's. Cabela's Camping Classic, your one stop before the campfire. Get 20% off Cabela's Endicott packs, 25% off lanterns and lights, and 30% off all-season cots. Shop in-store or online at Cabela's.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
The Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, morning rain. Otherwise cloudy, breezy, and cooler at a high only of 53. Currently rain and 58 degrees. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. On AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, the mob wins again. Ann Coulter's speech in Berkeley, first canceled by the university. Then she was going to speechify in the public square. And then that was canceled yesterday after Young America's Foundation pulled out of hosting her in the public square in and around Berkeley because, quoting Young America's Foundation, they didn't want to jeopardize the safety of its staff or students.
And Coulter's safety as well.
Well, sure, of course.
And she tweeted out immediately, I'm so sorry Berkeley canceled my speech. I'm so sorry about the cancellation for free speech crashed by thugs.
Yeah, it was another
It's bullying.
defeat for free speech and free expression on campus. Coulter saying without support from these sponsoring organizations, everyone who should believe in free speech fought against it or ran away. Well, I mean, part of this is the difficulty that an organization like Young America's Foundation or the College Republicans face in terms of providing for the safety of their representation. So I don't necessarily blame them. David French has a good piece in National Review on this, and it talks about that. Remember what government's obligation is here? It's to protect liberty, not to create a safe space for rioters. Doesn't this harken back to
That's a great point.
former Baltimore Mayor SRB?
Oh, yeah.
We need to create a safe space for the rioters in Baltimore.
Yeah. We're going to give them this area here so that they can riot.
That's not the government's job. The government's job is to protect individual liberty. And here's what Berkeley did, as French ticks this off. Berkeley stripped students of their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms so it can maintain enforcing an allegedly gun-free campus. Then law enforcement on campus abdicates its role. Campus police operate under what is essentially a stand-down order, intervening only if they believe human life is in immediate danger. The mayor of Berkeley himself justified that protocol by claiming if police had been more aggressive in previous rioting, more people could have gotten hurt. So you're ceding the initiative and the concern to people that are lawless and destroying property and injuring others. By the way, where does this lead?
Well,
I mean, just to close.
But there's some breaking news on this morning.
Well, let me close the loop on this. Where this leads?
Yeah.
The Ferguson effect, going back to Baltimore. Baltimore cops leaving. Since 2000, the number of Baltimore police officers has never fallen below 2,900. Now there are 2,500. The force is beset by turnover and an inability to recruit new officers, and it's estimated that it may cost the city $5 to $10 million a year to comply with the terms of that federal consent decree, if it maintains its standing, that Jeff Sessions is reviewing it. Murders have increased by more than 30% over the last year. Shootings are up 80%. That's what happens when you tell police to abdicate their responsibility to protect individual liberty. Not only is individual liberty, does that deteriorate? Does violence escalate? The police take a walk because you're not putting them in a position to be successful to do their jobs.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of walking, according to CBS News, we're learning this morning that Ann Coulter, while she's not speaking at Berkeley, she is still going to walk around the campus, which isn't making police officers there any happy or give them any relief, because when they heard she wasn't coming, they thought, all right, we can stand down now. But they were hearing chatter on the internet and through various left-wing groups that they're fixing for a fight. So Ann Coulter is not completely backing down. She apparently or allegedly is going to walk around campus today. And then she said she's going to walk around, which is a cemetery of the death of the freedom of speech. And if people want to come up to her and talk to her, she said that she'll be there. So
okay.
I think she's putting her life on the line by doing that, because people are there. I mean, we know that they're violent past. We know that they were trying to break down the walls and break the windows to get to Milo. And if she's out there, an open target, I think something bad's going to happen. I think she should rethink that.
No, I think that's the right thing to do, and hopefully many will join her as she
marches around campus like the Pied Piper.
Well, she ambulates around campus. How do you deal with the mob? You stand up to it.
And that's what she's doing.
Yeah, you stand up to
it. And I don't know if she's doing this to promote her brand or to keep this story going, but according to CBS and CNN, that she is not going to back down, that she, regardless of what's happened, that she's still going to show up on campus.
Well, there are ancillary benefits for her, clearly, but in addition to that, it will be interesting to see who decides to engage her, who decides to stand with her, who decides to walk around with her, and if there is confrontation that escalates beyond pointed words or a disagreement, how those who are watching it will react. And, what kind of police presence will be there. I mean, if, the police are encircling her, these bedwetters, they're not going to take on the police. They can only
I hope not.
They can only take on the police when the police allow them to take on the police and just stand down.
Well, the
and
SWAT
watch
team's going
them
to be
watch
called
them
in.
riot.
Yeah, well, the SWAT team's going to be called in. They're going to have their shields and they're going to have their canisters in case they throw bottles and rocks and projectiles at them. Also, in a little bit of trouble. I don't know how you interpret this, but Jesse Waters, did you hear what he said? He was commenting about Ivanka Trump being in Germany, and while she was speaking, with her smooth voice, we played the audio for you yesterday.
No, it's delightful.
Right. And Jesse Waters, he may have stepped in it. I don't know. See for yourself if you think this is a sexually charged comment about the president's daughter.
I don't really get what's going on here, but I really liked how she was speaking into that microphone.
And the left went crazy saying that he was talking about a phallic symbol that she may have been holding, comparing the microphone to something else. And he's now taking a vacation. No, I'm not kidding you. He's taking an abrupt vacation for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So the left is rallying to Ivanka to defend Ivanka's honor?
Yeah, saying that his comments were sexist and that he should be the next to go.
So,
Roger Ailes, Bill O'Reilly, and now Jesse Waters.
So the left is rallying to Ivanka's honor, Ivanka the accomplice, Ivanka whose clothing line should be boycotted, Ivanka who is complicit with, the criminal enterprise that is the Trump White House, according to them. Now they're all offended on behalf of Ivanka.
Well, Fox News did not comment, but Jesse Waters tweeted out, during the break, we were commenting on Ivanka's voice and how it was low and steady and resonates like a smooth jazz radio DJ. This was in no way a joke about anything else. The White House refused to comment on it as well. So, but last night during the 5, which is your favorite show, he said, well, I'm taking a vacation for a few days, which many interpret as he's being suspended with or without pay.
Well, I'm glad we got rid of the least interesting story of the day.
Well, no, but there's more at Fox.
To knock that out.
There's a group of African Americans who've worked at Fox, including Kelly Wright, who's been there for 12 plus years. They claim that they've been racially discriminated against. They claim that Fox is a hostile work environment for African Americans and that there's a plantation style management. So they got together yesterday, a group of employees, and, let people know what's happening at Fox.
I want to make it possible for whoever fills my shoes, that next generation, to never go through this.
He said he's...
That's Kelly, right?
Yeah, and he was brought to tears talking about how many times he has, applied for promotions, and he believes he was never promoted because of the color of his skin.
I read a story about that, and one of the examples he cites as evidence is that somebody joked to him at some point in his 14 years at Fox, living on the plantation on Fox, 14 years, really?
And never got off weekends, but it's all right. I mean,
seriously? Living on the plantation, voluntarily, because he's not an indentured servant. Somebody joked to him, well, you get more airtime if you were blonde. And that supposedly is prima facie evidence of racial discrimination. Are you kidding?
But wait, there's more. There's Trebrice, who works in payroll.
She's like, oh, you have children? I'm like, I have 3. All by the same man? And I'm like, yes. I was shocked.
Apparently, Vice President of Fox News, Judith Slater, said that to her, that comment. You have 3 kids? Oh, all by the same man? Judith Slater has denied that, and she's hired an attorney.
Yeah, it's time to go after the deep pockets because everybody's getting a check. Everybody's getting a payout. So let me wax nostalgic about my time at Fox and see if I can misinterpret an innocent comment that was made or put it in a context in which it was never intended. I mean, if that comment was made that woman just describes, that's an inappropriate comment. But as you say, the person they allege made the comment is denying it.
Fiercely denying it.
So I don't know about that. But Kelly Wright.
The man's crying, man.
Kelly Wright saying, because if I was blonde, I would get more airtime. Like, the idea, this comes as a shock to Kelly Wright. He's only been there 14 years, so he hasn't picked up on this. He just recently realized that one of the things that's done at Fox, and every other news outlet, is to hire good-looking people including good-looking women. Is that revelatory to anyone who's ever watched a newscast at any level, anywhere?
Well, have you
except Kelly Wright?
Have you ever watched Kelly Wright? I mean, I see him
Yes,
sometimes
he's
on the
lovely.
weekends.
He doesn't have to go blonde for me.
He doesn't?
No,
I just want him to stop wearing pants. I mean, he should really wear a dress. That might have catapulted his career into the weekday spot that he wanted so badly.
So
no, he's just, I mean, from somebody who's been in the business, he's okay. He's not.
Oh, and you were
great.
just in terms of how his
I'm just talking
persona.
about his talent level.
Yeah.
That's all I'm talking about is talent level.
Talent level has nothing
It's
to do
just
with
kind
this.
of flat. His delivery's flat, and he's not interesting. I'm sorry. Doesn't do anything for me. Nice man. Great. I thought he was perfect for the weekend slot. That's why he's been on weekends for more than 10 years.
He is going to use that statement as evidence. Your statement.
Uh-oh.
You are going to be
no.
subpoenaed to testify. That is the kind of discrimination he's faced, is that unless you roundly agree that Kelly Wright should get whatever position he wanted that he didn't get, then you're by definition discriminating against him. That's essentially the argument. It's silly. And by the way, Fox invented this. Remember, it was Kathy Hart.
Oh, yeah.
Who famously had her legs insured for $1 million by Lloyd's of London. It was those entertainment shows that use the transparent table where you can see the female anchor's legs underneath the table as the way to bring in male viewers, well before Roger Ailes was ever hiring blondes at Fox. So, I mean, Kelly Wright, unless you have more to offer, get real.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Culture is everything. When a nation replaces individual rights and the rule of law with silly-hearted, value-free multiculturalism, freedom dies. Last week's terrorist attack in Paris is another awful reminder of how this plays out in practice. Trying to cure a sick culture is like being in the throes of Italian fever. By the time the symptoms show, you're a goner. So how do we give American culture a checkup as to our present ability to be both a free society and the greatest melting pot in human history? Last week's referendum in Turkey that codified Erdogan's authoritarian rule into law was a useful stress test. 97% of Turks are Muslim. Turks living in Germany and the Netherlands, two countries that pride themselves on migrant friendliness, voted 63% and 70% respectively in favor of the referendum, despite opposition from officer-friendlies Merkel and Rutte. By contrast, Turks in the United States, which isn't perceived to be nearly so migrant-friendly, particularly of late, voted 83% against the referendum. The lesson for healthy living? Acting like a doormat to dogmatic Islamists makes them more so, not less so. The prognosis for American culture on this score? A long life ahead.
LPS Corporation in Franklin Park is proud to support Food for the Poor and AM 560 The Answer. LPS Corporation sells and services meat processing equipment for supermarkets and packing houses throughout the Chicagoland area. They also offer a wide assortment of handcrafted, quality seasonings and marinades to add just the right flavor to your culinary creations. From grinding, stuffing, mixing, and slicing to flavoring meats and packaging meats, LPS Corporation does it all. They also have free training classes that teach you how to create delicious sausage, salami, lunch meats, and more using authentic Italian products and taught by technicians from Italy. LPS Corporation, food processing equipment, supplies, and service to help your supermarket or packing house run efficiently each and every day. For more info, call 847-451-2222 or visit them in Franklin Park at 2308 17th Street. Choose LPS Corporation for meat processing equipment, supplies, and service.
The good news? Our business is growing. The bad news? We have to hire again.
The searching.
Where do we look?
What if we hire the wrong person? Actually, we could use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter?
ZipRecruiter makes hiring fast and easy. With one click, our job would be posted to 100 leading job sites. But are the candidates any good? You bet. As soon as we post our job, ZipRecruiter starts identifying the best matches and notifies them to apply, all within minutes. Well,
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates fast with ZipRecruiter. Find out why ZipRecruiter has been used by hundreds of thousands of businesses in a variety of industries nationwide. Right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Go to where the pros go. McGrath Printing and Custom Apparel.
If you're a business owner with commercial printing needs, contact our friends at McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, proud supporters of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. McGrath takes care of all print and apparel needs for companies of all sizes. Chicago's biggest names in manufacturing, pharmaceutical, and medical choose McGrath Printing year after year for truly unmatched customer service and reliability. Mention AM 560 and receive 20% off your first order. That's right, 20% off by mentioning AM 560. For a quick quote, visit McGrathPrint.com, McGrathPrint.com, or call 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. Go to where the pros go.
Go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
One call could decide your child's future. We're Mathnasium Learning Centers, the world specialist in teaching math. We began with a powerful idea. Teach kids math the way that makes sense to them, and kids will actually enjoy math. They'll do more of it, leading to higher and higher levels of mastery. Today, Mathnasium has 700 franchised locations. Find yours at mathnasium.com and make the call that could decide your child's future. Mathnasium, we make math make sense.
When you think about spring, what comes to mind? Baseball, tulips, spring cleaning? How about cleaning up your home? Hi, Amy Jacobson here to tell you about our good friends at CertaPro Painters. Spring has arrived, and it's a great time to focus on your exterior painting. Don't deny how ugly it is. You know, the chipping, peeling, eyesore of a front porch. So do what I did and call CertaPro Painters now. 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They really are the best in the business. They're clean, responsible, talented. They increased our property values. They're such a top-notch company. They've been around for 25 years and counting. So do what I did and experience the CertaPro difference. 1-800-GO-CERTA or CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
5:57. Let's get an update on our roads this early morning. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Mike, the Edens is wet, but otherwise okay. The Kennedy, 23 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. The Eisenhower, 37 minutes. Thorndale to the post office downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson now 46 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 26 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 30. Traffic is a service of Dove Men's Plus Care. You're the 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommended. Dove Men Plus Care user Bobby said he doesn't know how it works, but gets the job done. Sounds good, Bobby. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
The news service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil, service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. Let's get an update on the morning forecast, your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
After a brief morning shower or two, it will remain mostly cloudy for the day. Breezy with wind gusts around 30 miles per hour, high 53. Mostly cloudy through the night, low 43. Then tomorrow, occasional rain for the afternoon, high 61 and a low of 41. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
At 5:59, here are the stories we are following on AM 560, The Answer this morning. United Airlines says it will offer as much as $10,000 to passengers who volunteer to give up their seats on overbooked flights. The offer, one of many changes the airline is now making. Body of a 1-year-old girl has been found, Will County authorities saying late last night. Sheriffs and FBI officials gained consent to search a residence in the 300 block of Lewis Road. The deceased body of Samaja Crosby was found around midnight. The union representing Chicago's aviation police officers trying to stop the city from removing the word police from the force's uniforms and vehicles. It's draft day for the Bears. Pirates beat the Cubs, and White Sox winners over the Royals. More Dan and Amy after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. When President Trump was campaigning, he called NAFTA a disaster and said he'd fix it.
To get a better deal by a lot, not just a little.
And now he's ready to renegotiate. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump wants to make a deal with Canada and Mexico. Instead of pulling out of the North American Free Trade Agreement, the White House says, at least for now, the president wants to rework the 2-decade-old trade deal to the benefit of U.S., Canada, and Mexico. The announcement came just hours after the administration was considering a draft executive order to withdraw from NAFTA. Dave?
Rachel, today the president is set to sign another executive order. This one focuses on the VA following the scandal of poor veterans' health care. The order would make it easier for the head of the VA to fire incompetent employees. Yesterday, his Treasury Secretary detailed a tax reform proposal Steve Mnuchin calls the biggest tax cut in U.S. history.
So by cutting business taxes, this will increase wages for American workers and create more jobs.
It would also cut the number of personal income tax brackets to 3, 10, 25, and 35%, double the standard deduction for married couples, and eliminating most other deductions except for mortgage interest and charitable contributions. But House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi says it's more trickle-down economics that'll undermine the middle class. It's been a long night in Middletown, Delaware, for neighbors of a man who's been barricaded inside his house, firing shots at police in a standoff hours after he's accused of killing a state trooper outside a convenience store.
About every 30 to 40, 50 minutes maybe, there's a series of maybe 5 to 6 explosions in a row.
Police have blown out windows in the front door from its hinges, but he's still inside. An explosion shook Syria's capital, Damascus, early this morning, and Syrian state media is blaming an Israeli missile strike. But Israel's only saying a strike like that would be in line with established policy to interrupt a weapons transfer from Iran and Syria to the militant group Hezbollah. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
847-926-0700. This number can bring thousands of extra dollars right to your pocket. The Art House Gallery is back in Chicago. Do you have any jewelry or diamonds, silver, or antiques, paintings, porcelain, Fabergé, high-end pocket or wristlet watches, Rolex, Patek Philippe, IWC, Cartier, Tiffany, or Breitling? If you do, call the Art House Gallery now at 847-926-0700 and get your cash today. Meet in their office in Highland Park or in the privacy of your own home or bank. Call now, 847-926-0700.
Introducing the perfect getaway, nestled in the prairie, a place you can go to unload the stress of the day and recharge your inner peace. A place that fills your senses with fresh air and the sweet sounds of your Second Amendment rights being exercised. It's where you go to clear your head.
Set your sights for the Range at 355. Shoot in a brand new state-of-the-art facility with 2 ranges, one programmable for distance and the other for turning and tactical drills, featuring Mancom Touch Plus and Mancom Touch and Go systems. Trust us, it's cool. The Range at 355, situated on a private parcel of wetlands at the crossroads of I-55 and 355, right off Boughton Road. A shooting oasis with a full array of firearms, ammunition, accessories, and classes with professional guidance and courteous instruction. Take a vacation from the mundane. The Range at 355, founded by patriots like you.
For range hours and info, visit range355.com.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So this Bill Nye, the non-binary pansexual guy, this guy is really sort of a menace.
Yeah,
and
he's going off the rails, I think.
Well,
or has he always been off the rails?
Well, I mean, he's a complete Chicken Little when it comes to quote-unquote climate change, what they used to call global warming before it wasn't. But it's not because he has a Netflix show. It's because...
You're not going to play that song, are you?
Well, it's not because of the Netflix show, and yes, I am going to play that song.
Oh, no!
But
Heard your loin.
Literally.
Yes.
But but it's because he is so popular and ubiquitous among kids. His work product is used in schools. So this whole he's at this Netflix series and he's doing all of these bizarre things, and this is just some kind of ancillary for adults. He's in schools. So, hey.
He's in our public schools?
Pay attention. Snap out of it. This is the kind of soft entrance of indoctrination that happens in schools all the time. We've talked about Project Seed, training the trainers, radicalizing the teachers to then turn around and indoctrinate the students. The video series of Bill Nye where he's talking about things that are not political, basic science, but as a lead-in to everything he's talking about now. The soft lead-in to the real goal here. Bill Nye, I mean, there's so much here. Just in the first few episodes of this ghastly show he's got, Bill Nye Saves the World, which I guess is ironic, or at least it should be. Here's a Nye the other day.
Oh, is this that song?
With Rachel Bloom, who was an actress in My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. This is Bill Nye, the Scientist. Is it really?
This one goes out to all my bipeds who identify as ladies. This world of ours is full of choice, but must I choose between only John or Joyce? All my options only hard or moist. My vagina has its own voice, not vocal cords, a metaphorical voice. Sometimes I do a voice for my vagina. Please don't tell me I'm the only one who does that. 'Cause my sex junk is so much more than either a power bottom or a top off.
You get the picture. And you hear the voice, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Where is that voice coming from?
It's coming from the where?
Bill Nye introduces Rachel Bloom for that wonderful tribute to pansexuality, asexuality, voices from your junk. He cheerleads that. Science. Here's more Bill Nye science. He advocates letting 3-year-olds choose their own gender.
Oh, please.
Bill Nye, the science guy, question mark.
What makes someone male or female isn't so clear-cut. How about attraction? Some people argue the natural thing is to only be attracted to the opposite sex. But in practice, it ain't so simple, kids. Some people are gay, some are bi, some are asexual, and some will take whatever they can get. You know what I mean?
Hilarious.
It's another sexy sliding scale. When you throw in gender, it gets even more colorful. By 3 or 4, most kids identify with a gender, and it doesn't always match the sex they were assigned at birth. And a person's gender identity may change over their lifetime. And culture is getting us new ways to express all of this.
Right.
Oh, my.
Culture is, not science. Culture is, not science. Bill Nye is a cultural warrior for the left.
Yeah.
He may have a background in engineering, and he does. That's not who Bill Nye is today. Bill Nye is as much a scientist on his show and on his media appearances as Gene Wilder was a scientist because he played young Frankenstein. This is not science. This is a social justice culture warrior, a man of the left trying to influence culture, not explain science.
You know, this makes me want to cancel my Netflix subscription. Really?
Well, just don't watch Bill Nye Save the World. But I mean,
but still, for them to let his air his ideologies on that platform is completely wrong.
Well, I got another one for you.
Oh, there's more?
That's not all.
I got a singing for JJ. 3-year-olds should be able to choose their own gender, and now what?
We got to do something about your extra kids.
Oh, well, how many am I supposed to have? What, am I in China? You're going to tell me how many kids I can have?
We need to catch up with China.
Oh.
Extra kids, it's a problem. Bill Nye, on a panel that he had on his show that included Dr. Rachel Snow, Chief of Population Development for the United Nations Population Fund, an ethicist from Johns Hopkins, and a doctor of family planning who is an abortionist. So you know where this is going. Mm-hmm. They talk about what we can do to educate and advance justice for women. And the setup of this is women who have access to educational and professional opportunities tend to have fewer children, which is true. And he says it's not rocket surgery, it's science. Women in power, they have fewer children and more resources can be devoted to those children. Okay. So where's this going? I'll tell you where it's going. The fight against climate change, which is Nye's main cause, brought up by the UN doctor, who notes that children in developed countries use 160 times more resources than children in the developing world. So in the U.S. versus, third world,
right,
even second world countries. So Nye asked, should we have policies that penalize people for having extra kids in the developed world?
Well, how many what would be considered extra?
Good question. They don't quite
They don't get
to
there.
it. They don't
2
get
or
to
3's okay, but if I have a brood,
they don't
good.
get to a number. They don't get to a number. But Reader says, this is the UN person, of course. They're all population control proponents. A form of punishment for people who have extra kids. And need to consider the means to do it. This is the entire discussion. There's some pushback, but the abortionist, of course, notes the history of compulsory sterilization in America. And maybe this time it can be from a place of justice to empower women and to prevent children in the developed world from using so many more resources than children in the developing world. So what about that? What do you think about a one-child policy like China here in order to save the planet?
312-642-5600.
In order to help Bill Nye save the planet. He's doing the heavy lifting.
Because I want to decide how many children I have because of Bill Nye. It's none of his damn business.
Those aren't children. Those are extra kids. Please use the scientific terminology. This is a science discussion because we're including Bill Nye, who's a scientist, we're told over and over and over again. What are we doing? What are we doing to address that? So they're for reproductive freedom.
Right.
Unless you choose children or, extra kids. And then, so here you can't have extra kids. And then the kid, singular, I don't know, plural, you do have, got to let him choose his gender, her gender, by, 3 when they're fully formed and capable of making these decisions. And then, of course,
you can't even give kids timeouts when
and then
they're 3 because they can't form an opinion. They can't process.
Well, they can always
information.
They can always flip it around later. I mean, it's all loosey goosey here, Amy. Get with the times, get with the culture, and then when they're old
pushing
enough,
this propaganda on our kids. I mean, my kids, Peyton and Eli, are already coming home saying, "Well, this one's gonna definitely transgender when he's older, and this one." Like, how do you even know? We're pushing this on our children.
And hey, but then you know what they need to do if they're confused?
What?
Listen to the voice coming from their genitalia.
Stop.
So that's the way.
That's gross.
Rich on the south side.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Good.
Hey, you got this all wrong. You should be for this, not having penalizing people for having more than one child. You're on the wrong side of this, Dan.
No, I'm not.
I agree totally. Yes. If people are on public aid, we shouldn't pay them for having more than one child.
What does that have to do with the freedom to have a child or not? You support a China one-child policy, do you, Rich?
Well, I support that if you're on public aid, we shouldn't support you for having more than one child.
Uh-huh.
That's what I agree.
Yeah.
Don't you?
No. Thanks for the call, Rich. Candace and DuPage, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan and Amy. This show is so disturbing because it has a lot of sexual overtones, and that is the way the culture is going. This whole transgender thing really upsets me because when I was little, my mom cut my hair off to look like a little boy, and everywhere I went, people thought I was a little boy because my dad had wanted a boy. Anyway, I was a huge tomboy. If I had gone to school like that, I would have these freak teachers telling me I could be having a sex change. I mean, imagine all the tom girls out there that turned out to be, beautiful, strong women, and they wouldn't exist.
Amy.
I was a huge tomboy.
I was a huge tomboy.
So was I.
Leave us the hell alone. Leave our children alone. These people are freaks. They are certifiable.
Yeah,
Thanks for the call. Thanks.
You know what, Dan?
Oh, go ahead.
Where is our NPR? Where are our shows? How do we fight this culture? We don't have anybody giving any funds so we can have our own shows.
Yeah, thanks for the call,
Our own
Candace.
show, our response to Bill Nye's show.
Well, I mean, there's some truth to that. That's the conversation we had the other day with Andrew Klavan out of Hollywood. I agree with that in terms of the cultural infrastructure for conservatives. It's lacking. There's no question about it. One thing, though, too, Candace made a really important point here. This is also the creepy thing about this. Even if you're one of these kind of anything goes with gender and draconian policies to totalitarian policies to regulate people's lives, to punish people for having children. I mean, there are people out there that I don't even want to get into that. What Candace points up, though, the sexualization of children.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that should be met with unified horror across the political spectrum. And that's what sexualizing children. Is there anything that just viscerally makes you more sick than that? But they couch it in environmental protection. They couch it in, providing economic opportunity and justice to women. Sexualizing children. That's the only pathway to female empowerment? Really? That's the way we save the planet? Come on. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Thanks, Amy and Dan, for taking my call. Dan, you're correct. Bill Nye is not a scientist, but a degreed engineer, worked for Boeing. I got to meet him personally at a big engineers banquet where he was being honored. And during his speech, he made some remarks, and I lost all respect for him when he made the statement in developing my program, Bill Nye the Science Guy, don't do engineering. You're going to lose the audience. So after those comments, I lost him.
Yeah, right. There you go.
We know how you are.
Thanks for the call, Bob.
Yeah, good for him. That was important to Bob, and good for him for up and leaving.
Well, right, and also Bill Nye is essentially exposing himself to just be a media personality, somebody that is advancing a cause, and that cause is not science or engineering, for that matter. It's cultural leftism. Mark and Joliet.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Dan. Speaking of indoctrination, just yesterday I was reading a story in Breitbart about some college professor, surprised there, from California, who's making the rounds, telling people that what we need to do is start teaching our children in elementary school about gayness, quote-unquote gayness. And the sad thing about that is you, as a parent, send your children to school to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, and it's like the invasion of the body snatchers, where they've got adults that most people have never met, trapping their children for 8 hours a day, telling the 7-year-olds that they're really transgenders.
Yeah.
That's got to end.
Well,
Thanks
my kids
for the
were
call. Thanks, Mark.
in kindergarten. They did have that talk with them because we had two same-sex couples who had kids, in my children's class. So they went over, daddy and father, and they went over all that because the kids were confused why they had not a mommy and a daddy, but a daddy and a father.
Yeah, you could ask your parents about that. I mean, in terms of this is people you've never met. Well, if you're a parent and you've never met your kids' teachers or principals or administrators, then that's on you, number one. Number two, this has been going on for generations. Heather has two mommies. I mean, that came out and was being insinuated into school districts. Yeah, 20 years ago. And now this isn't a continuum, which is why I go back to all of those people, particularly who identify as conservatives or center right, or being able to connect dots and say, oh, all this, the bathroom stuff doesn't matter, just like marriage doesn't matter. It's on a continuum. They're erasing all the lines. They will just give them, just concede on civil unions because that's all that the gay rights movement is saying it wants. No, no. Civil unions to destroy the institution of marriage, to destroy the lines between the genders, to destroy culture, to sexualize children, to offer up sacrifices to almighty government.
Well, what I see happening, I mean, gay isn't gay enough. Now you have to transgender. You have to transition. Gay is not good. If you're lesbian, no, you've got to get rid of your junk and become a boy.
It's tough to keep up with the Joneses when it comes to being culturally cool, ain't it? Paxton in Martinton.
Dan and Amy, good morning. Dan, Marcus Aurelius, the last of the great pagan philosophers, rejected this notion in Rome when everybody was copying the Athenians and the Spartans, get rid of any baby that couldn't contribute or wasn't strong enough. And he weighed in and he said, we're not going to do this. And he wasn't a Christian. He was just a moralist.
Yeah, okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Paxton. Mark in Des Plaines.
Hey, good morning, you guys. The interesting thing about this is it's a concerted effort that's been going on for 50 or 60 years, Dan, to controvert, laws of nature. Here's an example. Last night I'm listening to a show on WDCB, and it's a jazz show, and it's about Duke Ellington, and they're talking about how he was fostering globalism through his music because he had traveled so much. I mean, give me a break. This just goes on, and it's a subtle way that they try to creep into the lives of children and adults, for that matter, to make them accept all of these principles that are, really not even in line with nature, right? So that's the terrible thing about this. It's heinous.
Thanks for the call, Mark.
Did you just assume my gender?
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Today, some morning rain, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy, a lot cooler. We can have wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour and a high only of 53 degrees. Tonight, a low of 43, no rain. And tomorrow, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies, warmer, rain in the afternoon, a high of 63 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Good morning to Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Northbound I-65 has heavy traffic from 8094 to 15th Avenue. The Edens is 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 20. Kennedy, 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 27. The Ike, 56 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop outbound 33. Stevenson, 56 minutes. 355 to the Drive. The Rhine is 26 minutes. 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, Metro PCS and Cricket customers. Are you tired of family plans with data limits? Check out Boost Mobile's best family plan ever. Right now, add a line with unlimited gigs for just $30 a month. Is that an amazing value or what? Even more amazing, you can add up to 4 lines with unlimited gigs for $30 each, all on Boost's crazy fast nationwide network. And did we mention that your first month is free for your new lines? Plus, when you switch, you can get up to 4 free Samsung Galaxy phones. Goodbye, Metro PCS. See you, Cricket. Hello, Boost, and the best family plan ever. What are you waiting for? Visit a Boost Mobile store today. Offer ends 6/1/17. Primary line must be on $50 plan. Video streams optimized at 480p plus, music up to 500 kilobits per second, and cloud gaming up to 2 megabits per second. Data deprioritization applies during congestion. 3-month credit for each additional line is $30. Max 4 additional lines. Credit applied at time of activation. Free phone requires port in and activation on $50 plan while supplies last. Coverage and offers not available everywhere. Restrictions apply.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Hey, if you're looking to secure financing on a new home or want to refinance your existing mortgage, then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg over there at Vice President of Lending at Pro Mortgage. Today, meet Rick, 54, income $130,000 a year, living in a $400,000 home in Glenview. He called to refinance. Now, Rick called another lender who recommended a 20-year fixed mortgage with $3,000 in closing costs before calling David. A member of David's team, Jose Rodriguez, helped Rick refinance into a 30-year fixed loan with substantially less closing costs and reduced his payments over $300 a month. Now, Rick will use the more than $3,600 he's saving a year to pay off credit card debt and then pay off his mortgage in 20 years. So don't waste your time with inexperienced and uneducated lenders who don't know what they're doing. Stop procrastinating and pick up the phone and call David right now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Gatto Industrial Platers, Inc. is the specialist in zinc and zinc nickel plating. Gatto is big, they're good, and they're easy to work with. Their high production rack plating line has up to a 15-foot capacity to handle any zinc plating requirement. Gatto's 210,000 square foot facility can process 300 tons per day and offers complete custom packaging with available pickup and delivery in the Chicago metro area by Gatto's own fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 8,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, greatparkinglots.com. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of greatparkinglots.com. greatparkinglots.com.
Most folks are scared to even begin the process of buying a new car. No doubt shopping for a new vehicle can be intimidating. You want a dealer that really helps you get the best car for you and your family and skips the high-pressure nonsense. That's Joe Cotton Ford. They're here to help you find the new Ford car or truck that fits your lifestyle and your budget with no hassles, no drama, no high-pressure sales tactics. Really. You just can't find that kind of great customer service these days, so relax. Car buying doesn't have to stress you out. At Joe Cotton Ford, you have their word. Your satisfaction is their top priority. In fact, that's why Joe Cotton Ford is one of the highest repeat customer dealerships in Chicagoland. They take pride in working with generations of Ford buyers and their families, whether they're buying their first vehicle or their 14th. Get to Joe Cotton Ford and drive home a new Ford car or truck today. Gary and North Avenue and Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's alive! Obamacare repeal 2.0. New life after the Freedom Caucus endorsement of it. We'll talk to Michael Tanner from the Cato Institute about it at 6:36.
And later, a teenager got arrested for doing what in front of a senior citizen? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
58 degrees, rain showers. President Donald Trump has just told leaders of Mexico and Canada that he will not immediately pull out of the North American Free Trade Agreement. That word came just hours after the administration had said they would consider drafting executive orders to do just that. The White House made the surprise announcement in a readout of calls involving the president, Mexican President Enrique Nieto, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. United Airlines says it will offer up to as much as $10,000 to passengers who volunteer to give up their seats on overbooked flights. The body of a 1-year-old girl has been found. Samaja Crosby, according to Will County authorities, was located in a home in the 300 block of Lewis Road in Joliet, approximately midnight, with the assistance of an attorney the family had obtained. White House says the president's new tax reform plan will lead to one of the biggest tax cuts in U.S. history.
Taking the current 7 tax brackets we have today and reducing them to only 3 brackets: a 10% bracket, a 25% bracket, and a 35% bracket.
Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin saying the Trump tax plan will unlock economic growth. The Cassini spacecraft that's been orbiting Saturn is back in contact with NASA again. They're diving between the planet and its rings. It's now sending back information gleaned during the maneuver yesterday after being out of contact for around 22 hours. It's actually the beginning of the end for Cassini, launched into space in 1997. The spacecraft will carry out 20 more dives around Saturn before plunging into the gas giant's atmosphere. Lawyers for the Chicago police officer charged with murder in the shooting death of Laquan McDonald are now asking a judge to waive his court appearances. A 120-year prison sentence handed down to a Chicago man convicted of kidnapping and recording himself sexually assaulting a 3-year-old Mundelein girl in 2013. Jose Reyes was sentenced to 4 consecutive 30-year prison terms. Chicago sports. Boston pulls away from the Bulls late and a 108-97 Game 5 playoff victory in that first-round set. Pirates beat the Cubs. White Sox sweep out the Royals with a 5-2 win. And the news is a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today. Just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil service, and repairs National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 6:34 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees support for Trump, even from the left.
Now on to Syria. It has transformed people's perceptions of Donald Trump around the world and the United States. And it has been widely praised by people on the left. And the reason is it is almost impossible to know what happened and say we should do nothing.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Commercial roofing is a serious venture that protects your business and property. It depends on the right manufacturer and the company to install it. Chicago weather and high winds require a high quality of roof and an experienced roofer. For over 3 decades, Champion Roofing has been the recognized leader in commercial roofing. With a commitment to quality and attention to detail, Champion offers warranties from 5 to 30 years. And Champion's roofers have the experience to provide you with the assurance of a quality installation through excellent workmanship. Give yourself and your business peace of mind. Trust the Champion. For unmatched commercial roofing expertise, extensive range of services, the security of a comprehensive warranty, and a highly skilled workforce to install your roofs for a job well done, call licensed, bonded, and insured Champion Roofing today for your free estimate. 847-673-7663 or visit championroofing.com. That's 847-673-7663 or online at championroofing.com. Don't trust your roof to anybody other than a champion.
6:36. Well, count your blessings this morning. At least you're not waking up in La Crosse, Wisconsin, where they have a half an inch of snow to navigate the ride to work this morning. In our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Oh, my. Hell, that's a good thing. And if you're sitting on the Eisenhower, the Stevenson right now, so you can be thankful for that, if not for the travel time. Inbound Ike, the delay started St. Charles. We're looking at 58 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, 42 from Manheim, outbound 33 to Thorndale and Stevenson. It's worse, an hour and 7 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 52 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 41 minutes to 3:55. Edens is 29 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 21, Kennedy, 38 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 33. The Ryan is 29 minutes from 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slows Cicero Avenue to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway heavy from York to the Eisenhower. And traffic is a service of Dove Men Plus Care. You hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it. Dove Men Plus Care user Daniel said his armpits aren't the worst thing at the gym anymore. Make the locker room a better place and pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care for your gym bag at your local retailer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Morning rain, otherwise cloudy, breezy, and cooler. High 53, cloudy and 43 overnight. Currently, we have 58. Next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, the plot twists and turns on Obamacare replacement.
It's like a soap opera.
And it took I would say, a very positive turn yesterday on two fronts. One is Gary Cohn, the president's economic council director, in introducing the president's tax relief plan, included in there a repeal of the 3.8% Obamacare tax. In addition to that, you had the Freedom Caucus yesterday release a statement. While the revised version of Obamacare replacement still does not fully repeal Obamacare, we are prepared to support it to keep our promise to the American people to lower health care costs.
Okay.
Now, the question is, does the Tuesday group, to some of the more moderate members of the caucus, are they still on board with the amended 2.0 version? I think they're going to be. There was some involvement from Tuesday group members on this. That's pending. But all of a sudden, it looks like we're going to, in my opinion, at least advance the flag on replacing Obamacare and reducing health care costs and moving to the next phase of regulatory relief. And I have actually considerable faith in Dr. Tom Price at HHS that he will unwind the administrative state part of Obamacare. So this is good news for health insurance and, by extension, health care in America, isn't it? And we put that question to our friend Michael Tanner, who, of course, is a well-known and respected senior fellow for the Cato Institute. He's also the author of the book Going for Broke, Deficits, Debt, and the Entitlement Crisis, and he is an expert in this space, has written extensively on the topic. Michael, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you.
So do you agree with my perspective in answering the question, if, with the Freedom Caucus on board, if 2.0 does move out of the House and to the Senate and makes its way to the president's desk in some approximation of the form that it would come out of the House, that this constitutes substantial improvement in the health insurance landscape in America?
Well, I think this new version of it is better than the old version, and it certainly is moving in the right direction. I should say that almost anything that comes out of the Senate is going to look radically different than whatever passes the House. In many ways, the House should go ahead and pass something and send it over, because the Senate's going to strip it down and write its own bill anyway. It will come back to the House eventually for another vote, and that's where the Freedom Caucus or the moderates should begin to draw their lines in the sand. At this point, they should simply be trying to move the process forward.
Well, what's in the revised version that the Freedom Caucus likes?
Well, what they've done is give the states the power to waive some of the mandatory minimum benefit requirements and some of the insurance regulations that are in Obamacare. Essentially, the moderates wanted to retain those policies, particularly the protection for people with pre-existing conditions. And the Freedom Caucus wanted to get rid of them. And what they've done as a compromise is allow the states to submit waiver requests to HHS to get rid of those requirements, providing they have some other mechanism to protect people with those pre-existing conditions. That will go a long way towards dealing with the adverse selection problem, dealing with some of the problems that are destabilizing the insurance market, and lowering premium costs, which, of course, is one of the most important things that reform can do.
So, setting aside the point that you made, which is an important one, and I concede about what comes out of the Senate will look different, with what the Freedom Caucus is signing on to, and their objection to the first version was it didn't do enough to lower premiums immediately. Are they right that this has a much better chance, a much greater likelihood that people will see real relief in their premiums in the near term if this were to be signed into law?
Well, it will largely depend on the state, on states that are willing to take advantage of these waiver requests that could significantly reduce premiums. But a lot of Democratic-controlled states, like Illinois, for example, are probably going to retain these protections, and that's going to keep insurance prices high and keep the insurance market unstable. And so we're sort of localizing the problems rather, we're now there on the national level. We're going to shift them down to a state and local level, but we're not necessarily solving the problems.
So do these waiver requests include maternity leave?
They wouldn't. They could indeed. Some of the details have not been put on paper yet, but essentially the entire set of essential minimum benefits that are on under Obamacare could be waived. There may make a couple of exceptions for here and there, but that's what it looks like as of right now.
What's your reaction to, as part of Trump's tax relief plan, you can give us a general reaction to it, but in addition to that, the specific rollback of the Obamacare tax?
Well, the Obamacare tax absolutely needed to be rolled back, and that was always part of the plan. The problem is, of course, we're taking revenue out of the situation, and the Trump administration still has not embraced spending cuts to offset that. So we've got a potential increase in the deficit. In terms of the Trump tax plan altogether, the business tax cut, of course, is long overdue. This will go a long way towards making American businesses more competitive and helping to bring back some of the money that's parked overseas. There's some very good ideas on the domestic side as well in terms of tax simplification, lowering rates while getting rid of some of the loopholes and that are in the current code. The question is largely going to be in the details. This was basically a one-page outline. The Treasury Department still hasn't even developed some of the details. There's no legislation at this point. So we're basically talking almost at the campaign promise level. It's a good promise, but that's all it is at this point.
Although it'd be nice. Look, I take a one page to replace 80,000 pages.
Well, you're absolutely right, but we don't know, for example, what deductions will be cut and what ones will be retained. They said, for example, they're going to retain the mortgage interest deduction, which I think is one of the more regressive ones. They're going to retain the charitable deduction, which is probably a good thing.
Right.
Beyond that, we don't know yet. We don't know what they're going to do about a border adjustment tax. They said that that's being left up to the negotiators. That's a huge question. It's a $30 billion a year hit to American consumers if that's included. So there's still a lot of details to be worked out.
And they say they're going from 7 brackets to 3. So what brackets are being eliminated?
Well, essentially, the brackets are going to be 10, 25, and 35, I believe.
Right.
But we don't know what income they'll apply to. That hasn't been worked out yet either.
All right. He is Michael Tanner, Senior Fellow for the Cato Institute, author of the book Going for Broke, Deficits, Debt, and the Entitlement Crisis. Michael Tanner, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, is there a new way to fight ISIS, or is it boring? You don't laugh anymore. You don't bring me flowers.
Laugh at things that are funny.
That's rude. Forecast isn't funny. We have light rain. It has arrived, and it will be here most of the day, and then breezing cooler later. Wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour, a high of 53 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 43. And for Friday, it's going to be cloudy in the morning, warmer, but then rain rolls through here in the afternoon, a high of 63 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and say hello once again to Jim Talamonte.
Hi, Amy. Good morning. Morning, Dan. Eastbound Edens Spur. It's bogging down from Waukegan Road to the Edens. Then once you get on the Edens, it's 29 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 38 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker in the Express, outbound 33 minutes. The Eisenhower's an hour and 4 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Delays started at Addison Road. 47 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 42 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 59 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 53 minutes to 355. There's a crash at Western on the right shoulder. Ryan, 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 37 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 30. Northbound Tri-State slow. Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. And the Reagan Tollway has delays from York to the Eisenhower. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Nordstrom just can't stay away from politics, now under attack for mocking blue-collar workers. Chipotle restaurant sales rose in the first quarter, and a JFK diary sells for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those stories next. Are you being intimidated by the IRS? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who've helped thousands of people with problems just like yours, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. If you are an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS, you can turn to them for help. Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns? Let Rapid Resolution Tax Group intervene for you. They're accredited with and A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. After a year of bad news, Chipotle restaurants with a ray of sunshine, sales rise 18% in the first quarter. Several key reports today, including updates on durable goods orders, jobless claims, international trade, and retail inventories. A Boston gallery has sold off a diary kept by John F. Kennedy. Kennedy was a journalist briefly after World War II. The sale price for his diary, $718,000. The 61-page diary from 1945 covered the period when Kennedy was a correspondent for Hearst newspapers. Nordstrom being pilloried on social media, selling a pair of muddy, dirty-looking jeans for $425. The jeans being marketed as rugged American workwear. Critics say the campaign mocks blue-collar workers. Well, certainly the price tag does. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Bill's yard, and Bill's a grill master, not a grass expert. Still, he won't let weeds invade his backyard barbecue kingdom. And with Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, Bill's greasy thumb is just as good as a green thumb. Because Scott's Weed Grip formula is twice as effective on dandelions as it used to be. So Bill can clear out weeds, green up his lawn, and hold his spatula high. This is a Scott's yard. Pick up Scott's Weed and Feed today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I found out several years ago that I have hepatitis C, and I didn't want to be one of those guinea pigs that the doctors wanted to try all sorts of different things on. So I was looking for a more healthy alternative, and that's how I found Balance of Nature. I have had absolutely no symptoms since I started taking Balance of Nature. Within 3 months, my liver enzymes were next to normal, and they had been very highly elevated. I enjoy a very full life. I own several businesses, and I'm working 60 hours a week, and before I started taking Balance of Nature, I couldn't even work full-time.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
The good news? Our business is growing. The bad news? We have to hire again.
The searching.
Where do we look?
What if we hire the wrong person? Actually, we could use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter?
ZipRecruiter makes hiring fast and easy. With one click, our job would be posted to 100 leading job sites. But are the candidates any good? You bet. As soon as we post our job, ZipRecruiter starts identifying the best matches and notifies them to apply, all within minutes. Well,
whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates fast with ZipRecruiter. Find out why ZipRecruiter has been used by hundreds of thousands of businesses in a variety of industries nationwide. Right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
AM 560.
The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this next story comes to us out of Minnesota, by the way.
You say Minnesota.
Yeah, you know.
Minnesota.
Anyways.
Who?
Season 3 of Fargo has started.
Oh, yeah. It's your favorite, right?
Ewan McGregor. It's good. I just watched the first episode yesterday.
I used to live up there. I lived near Alexandria and Brainerd and all that.
Fargo is, check that out. It's
okay.
A good show.
So what town are we traveling to in Minnesota?
We're talking about Big Lake High School.
Oh, yeah.
It's yearbook time for the kids. And so, your various teams take the team photo.
Yeah, we did that yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Took 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th. Boys volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
I smiled for you, Dan, just so you know.
Remember to smile with your eyes.
They're all doing the W thing, for the Cubs. That's for the Cubs, not for this team.
So Big Lake High School, that's a lot of outdoorsmen up Minnesota way.
Oh, ice fishing, yeah,
Trap shooting.
Yep, that's big.
Big Lake High School has a trap shooting team. From this picture, it looks like they got about 50 kids on the trap shooting team.
Wow, good for them.
And I love shooting trap and skeet and sporting clays. So I wish I would have learned it as a young man like these kids. And
did they offer that at Bennett?
Or a young woman when I was a young woman like these kids have.
Before you transitioned?
They did not offer it at Bennett.
Okay.
But this is clearly quite popular, and it should be popular. It's fun. I teach gun safety, all those things. Except Superintendent Steve Westerberg pointed to the student handbook, which does not allow firearms or weapons to be displayed.
Oh, so let me guess. They took the team picture without the weapons.
No. They took the team picture with their shotguns properly pointed upwards, kneeling down, one knee.
Oh.
And that picture is not going to be allowed in the school's yearbook because the handbook doesn't allow firearms or weapons to be displayed. And we have rules so that adults in this world don't have to make judgment calls. So that's what this is. It's a school-sanctioned activity, said one of the fathers of a kid on the team. It's not like the kids are doing anything with it. They're literally just holding a gun. Some of them are pretty upset. I know one kid is a senior that started shooting in the 9th grade for the first time ever. And it's interesting, the reaction. People, even that don't have kids in the school, that don't have kids in the sport, are upset that this is not going to be allowed. Again, school-sanctioned activity, you've got big turnout based on just this picture. I mean, there's a lot of kids that participate. You got adult supervision. You got, coaches, instructors like you would in any other extracurricular activity. But because there's this provision in the handbook, well, the superintendent's hands are tied.
We can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We took a picture with a volleyball. Is that bad? Should we have taken the volleyball out of the picture? Because that's what you're playing with the volleyball. I mean, taking the guns out of the picture is the same thing. It's going to stand up and be a man, huh?
You are.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You need to switch your cell phone service to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile was founded to support conservative causes while providing the same great nationwide cell phone coverage that you're already used to enjoying. Patriot Mobile allows you to donate up to 5% of your monthly bill to the conservative organization of your choice at no extra cost to you. Do what I'm doing. Do like me. Switch to Patriot Mobile and support the conservative agenda. Switch today and get a free iPhone with a $50 unlimited talk, text, and data plan, or a free Galaxy phone with a $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan. They will also buy out your current contract up to $500 per line. There's no catch. Call 800-A-PATRIOT, and Patriot Mobile will even waive your activation fee with promo code Joe. Or go to patriotmobile.com/Joe.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Culture is everything. When a nation replaces individual rights and the rule of law with silly-hearted, value-free multiculturalism, freedom dies. Last week's terrorist attack in Paris is another awful reminder of how this plays out in practice. Trying to cure a sick culture is like being in the throes of Italian fever. By the time the symptoms show, you're a goner. So how do we give American culture a checkup as to our present ability to be both a free society and the greatest melting pot in human history? Last week's referendum in Turkey that codified Erdogan's authoritarian rule into law was a useful stress test. 97% of Turks are Muslim. Turks living in Germany and the Netherlands, two countries that pride themselves on migrant friendliness, voted 63% and 70% respectively in favor of the referendum, despite opposition from officer-friendlies Merkel and Rutte. By contrast, Turks in the United States, which isn't perceived to be nearly so migrant-friendly, particularly of late, voted 83% against the referendum. The lesson for healthy living? Acting like a doormat to dogmatic Islamists makes them more so, not less so. The prognosis for American culture on this score? A long life ahead.
Comcast Business presents the GOA Regional Business Association's 2017 Business Expo, face-to-face, Thursday, May 4th from 2 to 6 p.m. This event is free to the public and will be held at Avalon Banquets at 1905 East Higgins Road in Elk Grove Village. Attend and learn about products and services from over 100 local business vendors. Sample delicious local food and drinks. Enjoy raffles and great giveaways from the exhibitors. Last year, the GOA Regional Business Association's Business Expo had over 1,000 attendees. Admission to attend this event is free. All you need is your business card. Don't miss the GOA Regional Business Association's 2017 Business Expo. Thursday, May 4th, and network with over 100 companies at the only business expo in the region. For more info, call 630-773-2944. That's 630-773-2944. Or visit them online at thegoa.com. When you're looking to grow your business, think GOA.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
ESPN goes from hemorrhaging viewers to hemorrhaging staff. We'll explain why at 7:07.
And later, Congressman Peter Roskam joins us. But first, let's join Mike Scott, who's in the newsroom.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're following right now. The search is over for a 1-year-old missing in Joliet Township. Police union trying to stop the city from rebranding Chicago's aviation police. Sandy Jackson has questions about her ex-husband's sex life. Morning rain, otherwise cloudy skies today. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Relationships are good. That's what President Trump has just tweeted, adding after talking to the leaders of Mexico and Canada, he'll work with them to renegotiate, not terminate NAFTA, a trade deal he has called a disaster for American workers taking jobs away.
The White House said that President Trump agreed not to terminate NAFTA at this time, and the leaders agreed to proceed swiftly according to the required internal procedures to enable the renegotiation of the NAFTA deal to the benefit of all three countries.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. This after the White House detailed what it calls the biggest tax cut in U.S. history. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump's plan reduces the number of tax brackets to 3, 10, 15, and 35%. House Speaker Paul Ryan says the plan simplifies things for taxpayers and
we will have an IRS that exists only to serve the taxpayer.
The standard deduction would double, while some other tax deductions could be eliminated. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says the president's tax plan
will mostly benefit people and businesses like President Trump's.
The reform package also reduces the corporate tax rate from 35% to 15%. House Republicans have proposed a 20% tax on businesses. Dave?
Rachel, Saturday will be President Trump's 100th day in office, and in a new Fox poll,
over half say they are unhappy with the direction, with the way things are going in the country today. 53%. 45% are happy with the way things are going.
That's Fox polling director Dana Blanton. She says that's the highest satisfaction level since October 2012. Police have been outside a house in Middletown, Delaware since yesterday afternoon. Barricaded inside is a man, a suspected cop killer, has been firing shots at police in a standoff. There were explosions heard all through the night. He's accused of shooting the trooper outside a convenience store.
So sad when someone who's there to protect us gets taken out by some punk and murdered.
In Georgia, there's a manhunt for a man who shot and wounded a sheriff's deputy. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
58 degrees and rain showers this morning. Winds are blowing at 13 miles an hour out of the south at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. United Airlines says it will offer as much as $10,000 to passengers who volunteer to give up their seats on overbooked flights. The offer made by the Chicago airline is one of several changes it is making after a passenger was dragged off the plane by Chicago security officers earlier this month. The body of 1-year-old Samaja Crosby has been found, Will County authorities saying late last night that the Will County Sheriff's Office, along with the FBI, gained consent to search a residence in the 300 block of Lewis Road in Joliet, along with the assistance of an attorney the family had obtained. About midnight, the deceased body of Samaja Crosby was located inside that residence. Lawyers for the Chicago police officer charged with murder in the shooting death of Laquan McDonald have asked a judge to waive that court appearance. In a motion filed last week, made public yesterday, attorneys for Jason Van Dyke cited 3 alleged incidents of threatened violence during the officer's court appearance last month. A suburban Chicago tow truck driver has been ordered held in lieu of $3 million bond in the shooting death of a semi-tractor trailer driver. DuPage County prosecutors say Anthony Tillman of Lansing and the truck driver, Eduardo Munoz of Northlake, did engage in a road rage argument for several miles before the tow truck driver opened fire. The estranged wife of Jesse Jackson Jr. requesting very personal information about her husband in their divorce case. Court documents filed in Washington, D.C. show Sandy Jackson wants to know who the former congressman may have slept with besides her during their 25-year marriage. Jackson Jr.'s attorneys objected to those questions. Game 5 of the first-round playoff set between the Bulls and Celtics goes to Boston, 108-97. Pirates over the Cubs, 6-5. White Sox sweep out the Royals with a 5-2 win. And the Bears getting set to be on the clock today. Round 1 of the NFL Draft tonight in Philadelphia. The news service of Burger King Breakfast. Who doesn't love pancakes? Go to Burger King now and get 3 golden pancakes for 89 cents. Maybe hard to believe, but it's true. Try 2 croissant sandwiches for $4 only at Burger King, limited time at participating Burger King restaurants. Restrictions apply. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. MyPartsGarage.com is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory. Your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state, next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Right now, MyPartsGarage.com will price match your order, and yes, the shipping is still free. The last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find parts. The average driver in Chicago commutes at least 24 miles per day. People are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed and free shipping.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
In your business, you trust people who time and time again get the job done. At Indeed.com, we deliver 5 times more hires than any other job site, according to independent research. That's why over 3 million businesses use Indeed when they're hiring. Because getting the job done matters. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
7:07, let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Wakanda, southbound 12 is closed. Bonner to 176 due to a crash. In northwest Indiana, it's slow going on northbound I-65, 8094 to 15th Avenue. Eastbound 8094 has roadwork delays from past Central to Ripley. The Edens is 37 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Kennedy, looking at 54 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 24 from Montrose, 17 in the Express, outbound 44 to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 55 minutes from Manheim, outbound 52 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 18 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 57 minutes. The Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, Bishop Ford, both 37 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State delays Cicero to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway slow 83 to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial. The scattered delays from Boughton to St. Charles, then from Army Trail to Lake. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next after your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
For today, a brief shower or two for the morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high 53. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low 43. Remaining mostly cloudy tomorrow with occasional rain in the afternoon, high 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
58. Rain showers at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We were talking about our golf outing yesterday coming up on June 15th at Bolingbrook Golf Club as per normal, and we're doing it in partnership with the 100 Club of Chicago, which provides resources and support, educational assistance to the kids of families who have lost a spouse in the line of duty as a police officer, as a firefighter, as a paramedic. So first responders in Cook and Lake County, so the money's here locally, serving families locally. And we want to thank a number of businesses who stepped up to participate in our business benefactor program, including but not limited to Precision Payroll, Topple Plumbing, Chicago Fiberglass Works, Midwest Performance Cars, Integrity Partnership, Robex Truck and Auto, Morrison Security, Singular Sports Zone, Armbrust Plumbing, Condor Building, Romar Transportation Systems, ProBuild Professional Lighting, Anion Blinds, Just Target Guns, American Financial Association, PCG Consulting Group, McPherson Public Affairs Group, Unique Repair Service, and Tax-Free Retirement. We're fortunate to have a lot of successful philanthropic listeners in our audience.
Yeah, and if you want to be like the cool kids by some of those businesses that Dan just mentioned, call this number 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. And here's the deal. Foursomes cost $1,196, and that includes a full day of golf. There's a 7:30 and a 2:30 shotgun start. You'll enjoy a luncheon. You get to hang out with Dan and Joe Walsh and others. And
can't put a price on that.
No, you can't. But here's the deal. If you own a business, if you make the marketing decisions for your business, listen up. You can become a business benefactor, too, by purchasing that foursome. And as a way of saying thanks, we will give you $3,000 worth of advertising. We will give you 25 60-second commercials to promote your business right here on AM 560 The Answer. The commercials will run between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday, so they're not going to be hidden. Dan could voice your commercials for you, too. Joe can. I can as well. So it's a wonderful, wonderful day of golf, but also you're helping the 100 Club of Chicago. Now, this is not a government program. This is people helping people. Imagine if you have a first responder, they go to work, they don't come home at night. And what the 100 Club does is they are there right away. President Joe Ahern, who joined us yesterday, they are with the family. They are providing emotional support, counseling for them. They let them know that life is going to go on, because when you lose a loved one, you don't need to have financial struggles as well. And that what they do is they present a $50,000 check to the spouse within days. And then they offer to take care of their children with their college funds. 20 children receive educational assistance between 2017 and 2018, and there's 67 children in our area that we need to help, that we want to help put through college. So again, the number is 312-363-6680, 312-363-6680 to become a business benefactor and really help us donate money to the 100 Club of Chicago. We're hoping to raise anywhere between $20 to $30, maybe $40,000 for the 100 Club of Chicago.
All right, and sticking on the sports theme, ESPN has been hemorrhaging viewers at an unbelievable rate. This from Clay Travis at Outkick the Coverage. ESPN will lose its 15 millionth subscriber since 2011. It's right now on track in 17 to rack up 15 millionth lost subscriber in the last 6 years. Every single day so far in 2017, more than 10,000 people have left ESPN.
Wow.
That's what's happening. And as a result of that, yesterday they announced some substantial layoffs, 100 or so people. A lot of good journalists, good commentators among them, names you'll recognize. Former Cub Doug Glanville, who was a Major League Baseball analyst, of course. Dottie Pepper, who was a golf analyst.
Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer's great.
Yeah, Jason Stark. I mean, a lot of producers and
Ed
writers.
Werder, longtime NFL reporter Ed Werder. A lot of good people.
Miss him.
Also, former Sun Times sports columnist Melissa Isaacson. She gone. And so this is not to celebrate.
Oh, you say that with love in your heart.
No, I mean,
No, it's sad when
not
you
to
lose your
celebrate.
job.
Yeah.
It's awful.
And as I said, there's a lot of people whose work I enjoy that's on the list. So it's not because they're bad at their jobs. And Clay Travis has a great piece on this at Outkick the Coverage. He writes, the people being fired at ESPN aren't being fired because they're bad at their jobs. They're being fired because ESPN's business is collapsing. And guess what? In the real world, unlike government, when your business collapses, you have to cut overhead. And where's the overhead? It's personnel costs, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they have to do, make some tough decisions. So he's not gloating over the individuals who've lost the job, but he is essentially gloating over ESPN's unwillingness to admit what was happening and the choices they've made. Just going back to those numbers, 10,000 subscribers every day in 2017 have left ESPN.
And why have their ratings fallen down?
Well, get to that, but you're talking about $1.3 billion a year is coming off ESPN's books. They are projected, if the trajectory continues, to actually be losing money by 2021, just 4 years from now. Now, part of this is the cable bundle, right? The unbundling of cable channels. So the a la carte world, the on-demand world in which we live.
And a lot of sports franchises are starting their own networks. I mean, look at the Yes Network. You know, the Yankees started that, and so.
Right.
And another group, like
Yes.
you just have other, and ABC7 wasn't broadcasting Cubs games. Now they are.
Are you still a subscriber to ESPN? And if you're not, why? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And by the way, he got into a back and forth with the head of ESPN's PR previously about their hemorrhaging of subscribers, and of course tweeted back at him yesterday saying, would you like to revise and extend your remarks on how inaccurate my reporting was. Ratings for ESPN are down 16% this year compared to last year.
Oof.
And here's one important point that Clay Travis makes. Middle America wants to pop a beer and listen to sports talk. They don't want to be lectured about why Caitlyn Jenner is a hero, Michael Sam is the new Jackie Robinson of sports, and Colin Kaepernick is the Rosa Parks of football. ESPN made the mistake of trying to make more liberal social media losers happy, and as a result, lost millions of viewers.
Shot him right in the face.
I mean,
seriously, because
I agree with that.
I want to watch sports to get away from what's going on politically, to just take a break. And they were shoving it in your face instead of they never showed the national anthem before football games unless it was a big deal, playoff game. But oh no, let's see what Colin Kaepernick is doing. And they seemed to celebrate the fact that he was taking a knee. And then other players followed. And then the big story wasn't the game itself, was who's going to take a knee before the game. I don't care. And I love Ed Werner, and I want him back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm having a hard time processing that one.
And, I mean, there's so many examples of this. Clay Travis provides 3 very high-profile examples, Caitlyn Jenner, Michael Sam, and Colin Kaepernick, in being lectured about those individuals specifically and the underlying issues generally. I remember a report on Game Day, which I love watching with Berman and the whole gang, but Adam Schefter, this was after that Kansas City Chiefs player killed himself.
Oh, that's right. Like on the way,
he killed his wife or his girlfriend, and then went to the stadium and killed himself.
Yep.
I think it was his name Belcher. I'm trying to remember, but anyway, and then Schefter gives this whole diatribe on the pregame show before the Sunday games about gun control. And I'm just Clay Travis, I think, has his finger on something. The results, I mean, yes, the cable bundle is a big part of the story, but it's not the total story. There's something else happening at ESPN, and I think the politicization of it, as Clay Travis said, trying to make liberal social media losers happy, they've paid a very dear price for it. The dear prices, their business is collapsing.
Yeah, it was Javon Belcher. You're right.
Yeah,
he killed his girlfriend and then committed suicide.
That's impressive recall that I have. Let's just.
You're firing all synapse all the time.
Let's both just take a pause and
recognize your brilliance.
Well, I mean, just think about how impressive that is.
Well, I'm more impressed, but you're right though. They did talk about gun control.
Yeah.
And that had nothing. If he didn't have a gun, he would have killed his girlfriend some other way, and would have killed himself some other way. So please.
George in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, I couldn't agree more, man. I think there's like 10 snowflakes sitting around a round table at ESPN, all drinking their, Starbucks latte, figuring out how to, push that agenda. And, like I tell my boys, we no longer eat Wheaties at our house because after eating Wheaties for 30 years, you lose your nuts.
That's funny.
George, tweet that immediately so that you can own it.
Yeah, you got to own that.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Forecast for today, some morning rain, otherwise cloudy, breezy, wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour, a high of 53 degrees. Tonight, no rain, but mostly cloudy skies, a low of 43. And for Friday, we're going to have clouds in the morning, warmer, but then rain by the afternoon, a high of 63 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems. Traffic Center, any slick roads causing high travel times? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Oh, they're high, Amy, no doubt about it. The inbound Edens is 40 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy, now an hour and 14 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 33 minutes from Montrose, 29 in the Express. The outbound Kennedy's bad, an hour and 9 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 19 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 18 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, an hour from the Tri-State. And outbound, it's 57 minutes to 355. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State delays are northbound, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway very slow buyers to the Tri-State. The Veterans Memorial from Boughton to St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. 8094 eastbound, stop and go from past Central to Ripley. And westbound now, it's slow, I-65 to Burr. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
How would you like to lose 10, 15, even 25 pounds in the next 30 days? Well, I'm about to tell you how you can do it for free right now. You've probably heard of Beachbody or seen their workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. Well, they just launched a beta trial of their new online video service called Beachbody On Demand, and they're inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. Now, here's the catch. In return, all they want is for you to let them know what you think of their new on-demand service so they can make it the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text the word STREAM to 303030, and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, Brazil Butt Lift, or one of 500 other Beachbody workouts for free. And that means you can lose 10, 20, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Just text STREAM to 303030. That's STREAM to 303030 to get started for free right now.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
Go to where the pros go. McGrath Printing and Custom Apparel.
If you're a business owner with commercial printing needs, contact our friends at McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, proud supporters of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. McGrath takes care of all print and apparel needs for companies of all sizes. Chicago's biggest names in manufacturing, pharmaceutical, and medical choose McGrath Printing year after year for truly unmatched customer service and reliability. Mention AM 560 and receive 20% off your first order. That's right, 20% off by mentioning AM 560. For a quick quote, visit McGrathPrint.com, McGrathPrint.com, or call 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. Go to where the pros go.
Go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I want to get to this Heineken Open Your World ad campaign that they've launched. But we're talking about ESPN and how they decided to destroy their business by giving into a bunch of crybaby leftist social media users. That was Clay Travis's observation at Outkick the Coverage. Very good piece that he wrote on the topic.
They were pushing their ideology before they were talking about sports.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted to say how they feel. Well, I don't tune in to know how you feel. I don't care how you feel. I want to talk about the game. I want to see the game.
Well, here's another.
I like the background on players, and I love 30-30.
Well, 30 for 30 is great. Those
That's
are
the
great.
best. Those are that's amazing.
But here's the other. But here's what they did throughout the programming day. Like Michael Sam, the last player
Oh.
taken in the draft, but the cause celeb because he's gay.
He wouldn't have
And-
been drafted had he not been gay.
And he didn't make it in the NFL because he's not
Yeah.
good enough. And here's the thing. You remember when he was drafted? You know, they always have for usually like the top picks or
Right,
the
the first rounders.
Yeah, the lottery picks in the NBA. They have them, with their family at their
Yeah.
home or somewhere.
I
and
remember-
they
I watched it.
celebrate when they get the call. Michael Sam was with his boyfriend, and they're
The little white dude, I called him.
and they're smearing cake on each other's faces.
I know. And the Oprah, because I know some producers over there, they were there as well because they're doing.
Of course they were.
Well, they were going to have a reality TV show about him that didn't go off because he didn't make it in the NFL.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were there. It was so. It was.
But
And what made me feel uncomfortable is weird. It's like, why you got to push that and shove it in my face? Just
like-
shove cake in your face is what off camera.
Right, and don't shove that in my face.
Exactly.
But it's the last player taken in the draft. The only reason it was covered at all was because of that. So that's a less than subtle way to lecture on the topic as well, in addition to the formal, explicit lecturing they did about Michael Sam, about Caitlyn Jenner, about Colin Kaepernick, about gun control, about all of this. John in Palatine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
One of the things I noticed, I went and looked through the list of people that got cut, and it's very much like the movie Broadcast News. They cut all of the little people, which means they didn't cut very much salary with each person that they cut. Instead of cutting the equivalent of Jack Nicholson's salary, which would have you only would have had to cut one or two people. Plus, they could have easily probably found something else.
Holly Hunter was not cut. William Hurt not cut. A little broadcast
Chris
news.
Berman was
He
not
used the
cut.
broadcast news.
Right, he did.
Yeah. Well,
I think Ed Werder is a big deal. I
well,
mean,
but you're
17
right.
years. That's
No, but yeah.
okay.
So there's a couple
build up
things.
your salary.
One is yes, right. So there is that, but
Yeah.
but that's not cutting Chris Berman,
No.
right? So I mean,
Well, he was already retiring.
Yeah.
well, but you know what I'm saying. Somebody on that level where you're talking about making probably 8 figures.
Anna Storm.
Hannah, but there was.
She's not cut.
But there was some Hannah Storm and I think Carl Ravitch also. It was reported their duties are being considerably scaled back. So some of the names are seeing their duties scaled back. Some maybe that speaks to more cost cutting to come, and maybe some of the bigger
Yep.
names
Anna
too.
Storm's her duties are being cut back.
Thanks for the call, John. Appreciate it. Speaking, staying on topic here, culture. There is nothing more than I like if when I'm not getting lectured by ESPN, than is to get lectured by Dutch breweries. And so Heineken
Aren't
has.
they owned by Anheuser-Busch now?
No.
No. Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry. Blonde moment. Blonde moment. I take it back. Okay.
Okay. Hey, chill. It's okay. I said Kathy Hart earlier in the show. I meant Mary Hart.
Yeah, you.
It
So
happens.
all right.
So it's
Thanks,
okay.
man.
Don't obsess about it.
Thanks
Get
for
over it.
processing my mistake.
Here's Heineken's ad. Open your world. Here's what they did.
Yes.
We've secretly replaced. No, they did a. They
vultures.
They did
Crystals?
They did a social experiment.
Uh-huh.
A group of strangers are invited to have one-on-one conversations with each other while performing a series of tasks and then sharing a beer. What they don't know at the outset is that each duo has strongly opposing views, which they've expressed to camera before meeting the colleague for the experiment. The situation
Why are
is
we whispering?
because I don't want them to hear.
We don't
So
want to know.
so they have these tandems.
Yes.
Where you've got diametrically opposed views on feminism. You've got you got two guys who disagree about climate change. You've got somebody who disagrees with this idea that you can select your gender paired up with somebody who's transgender. So they put them together, and then let's see what happens. Open your world. All right. So here's. Let me give you an example. Here's the first pair. This is feminism.
I would describe my political views as the new right.
I say that I'm left.
Feminism today is man-hating.
I would describe myself as a feminist, 100%.
All right. So there.
Okay,
That's
so
the
there's
second
the
pair.
dilemma.
Climate change.
I don't believe that climate change exists.
We're not taking enough action on climate change.
I think it's about time these people got off their high horse and started looking for credible problems that actually exist.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for those two.
Here's the on the transgender issue.
It's absolutely critical that trans people have their own voice.
That's not right. You can't, you're a man, be a man, or you're a female, be a female.
All right.
I don't think that's going to end well. All right.
So then they start to ask each other questions. Describe yourself in 5 adjectives.
Describe what it is like to be you in 5 adjectives.
Okay. Frustrating.
Dedicated.
Opinionated.
Lucky.
Ambitious.
Offensive.
Solemn. I have ups and downs.
Strong.
I want to say attacked. Misunderstood.
So this goes back and forth throughout the tandems.
Does it end with them all making out?
No. But then they ask, then the next question, what do we have in common? Even though they've only known each other for a few minutes, they're trying to, get to that place where you're breaking down barriers, Amy, so that you can have the makeout session.
Name 3 things you and I have in common.
We're both male, we're both confident, and we're both loudly spoken.
We know each other better than people who've known each other for 10 minutes should.
So you get the sense of it. There's some, looking for points of intersection to develop a bond. And then the question is after that, then what they do is they show the original statements where they had diametrically opposed views. They show them on screen and they both sit there and watch. And then the question is put to you, are you going to stay and have a beer with this person now that you know what their actual views are? And to
or
talk
are you going to go
it,
drink a Pepsi with Kardashian?
Or are you going to leave?
I'm only joking.
You're happy for a second then?
Well, I'm having a drink. I'm having a drink.
Yeah.
I want to discuss.
Beer.
Yeah, beer and discuss.
Cheers.
At the end of the day, mate,
about
I've
reaching
enjoyed
out to
working
people,
with you.
yeah. And even if you wanted to convince people about your point, the productive thing to do would be to sit down, have a beer.
Engage.
I've been brought up in a way where everything's black and white, but life isn't black and white.
Yeah, I'm just me.
Yeah.
Smash the patriarchy.
I'll give you my mobile number, you give me yours, and we'll keep in touch. I'd have to tell my girlfriend that I'll be texting another girl. She might be a bit upset with that, but I'll have to get
That was a transgender. The boy was a girl. And so the lesson is that, look, if everybody comes together and agrees on the left's agenda, then you live happily ever after.
Mm-hmm.
And my takeaway from watching this 5-minute social experiment, so you don't have to, is that I wouldn't have had a beer with any of them.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Congressman Peter Roskam joins us. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Rain and 56 degrees. United Airlines says it will offer as much as $10,000 to passengers who volunteer to give up their seats on overbooked flights. United CEO Oscar Munoz talked with NBC News.
And I own the policies and procedures and the common sense and the empowerment, if you will, of those people to do the right things, because a circumstance like we've all witnessed should have never happened.
Offer is one of several changes the airline is making after a passenger was dragged off the plane by Chicago Aviation Department security officers earlier this month. An investigation is ongoing after a 1-year-old girl who went missing in Joliet Township was found dead. Will County Sheriff's Office said overnight the body of Samaji Crosby was discovered late last night inside her home in the 300 block of Lewis Road. The child disappeared Tuesday evening. There will be an autopsy. The U.S. is not pulling out of the North American Free Trade Agreement just yet. President Trump says after calls with leaders of Mexico and Canada, he's decided to try to renegotiate the pact instead. Man accused of shooting a Delaware state trooper to death yesterday is still barricaded inside a home where he's been exchanging gunfire with police. Delaware State Police Colonel Nathan McQueen.
Responding troopers arrived at the scene and took one of the suspects into custody without incident. The second suspect had fled on foot prior to their arrival. The trooper was treated at the scene by paramedics and transported to Christiana Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries.
Corporal Stephen Ballard was shot yesterday while investigating a suspicious vehicle in the parking lot of a convenience store. Some familiar faces no longer on ESPN. The network laid off 100 people Wednesday. The list includes 17-year NFL reporter Ed Werder and 18-year veteran baseball reporter Jason Stark. The 2017 NFL Draft gets underway tonight with the first round in Philadelphia. And yes, it will happen on a stage erected on the famous Rocky Steps outside of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Barring a trade, the Cleveland Browns will be first on the clock to ruin yet another draft. Chicago sports, baseball last night. Pirates hold on to beat the Cubs 6-5. White Sox finish off a 3-game sweep of the Royals with a 5-2 win. The news service of Burger King breakfast. Who doesn't love pancakes? Nobody. Go to Burger King now and get 3 golden pancakes for 89 cents. Maybe hard to believe, but it's true. Also try 2 croissant sandwiches for $4 only at Burger King. Limited time at participating Burger King restaurants. Restrictions apply. 7:34. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's spring. Time to get out. No, way out. Time to get inspired at Cabela's. Cabela's Camping Classic, your one stop before the campfire. Get 30% off Copper River tents and screen houses. Shop in store or online at Cabela's.com.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago. I continue to take Andro 400 and I've maintained my weight at 172. Gained muscle and energy. I'm 63 now and feel better than I have in 30 years.
Andro 400, the natural way to increase testosterone, lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel great. Try Andro 400, the safe, effective, affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Beware, the federal government can change the rules for your retirement plan at any time. Before the government finds another way to separate you from your money, arm yourself with the Ultimate Retirement Protection Plan. The plan starts with 4 special reports: the new rules of retirement, your 20-minute estate plan, hidden real estate tax bombs to avoid, and 5 easy chair portfolios. The Ultimate Retirement Protection Plan was created by Bob Carlson, America's #1 expert on retirement planning. You'll also get a risk-free membership in our private research letter, Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch. It includes a monthly newsletter, weekly hotlines, and more when you order at retirementwatchradio.com. 1 year is just $49. Try it for 90 days. If it doesn't exceed your expectations, you'll get a complete refund. Call 800-552-1152. That's 800-552-1152. Or log on to retirementwatchradio.com. That's retirementwatchradio.com.
7:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is a 40-minute drive from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy, an hour and 14 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour 9. The Eisenhower, an hour and 19 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson, an hour 17. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 51 minutes. The Ryan, 40 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, heavy from 132 to around 176. Northbound delays, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway jammed from the Fox River to Farnsworth, crash in the center lane. And slow Winfield to 355 and Myers to the Tri-State, eastbound 390, slow Plum Grove to 290. Traffic as a service of Target. This week at Target, get Market Pantry cheese, 2 for $4. Find these and lots of other great deals for everything on your list. Target run and done. Pricing may vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Morning rain, otherwise cloudy, breezy, and cooler today, high 53. Currently 56. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Trump National Economic Director Gary Cohn and his Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin took to the stage yesterday to roll out the top lines of his structural tax reform plan, and I got to say, it lived up to Trump's advanced billing. As prone as he is to hyperbole, here's some of the highlights, as explained by Cohn, from 7 rates to 3.
We are going to cut taxes and simplify the tax code by taking the current 7 tax brackets we have today and reducing them to only 3 brackets: a 10% bracket, a 25% bracket, and a 35% bracket. We're going to double the standard deduction so that a married couple won't pay any taxes on the first $24,000 of income they earn.
In addition to that, cutting the capital gains tax, eliminating the Obamacare investment tax, eliminating the estate tax, eliminating the alternative minimum tax.
Therefore, we are going to return the top capital gains tax rate and dividend rate to 20%, repealing the harmful 3.8% Obamacare tax on dividends and capital gains. That tax has been a direct hit on investment income and small business owners. We're going to repeal the death tax. The threat of being hit by the death tax leads small business owners and farmers in this country to waste countless hours and resources on complicated estate planning to make sure their children aren't hit with a huge tax when they die. No one wants to see their children have to sell the family business to pay an unfair tax.
And Treasury Sec Mnuchin made the objective of this plan very clear.
Our objective is to make U.S. businesses the most competitive in the world.
And I think this plan substantially does it now. I know your friends reacted to the...
Oh, they said Trump is just doing this to line his own pocket.
Right.
It's all about Trump and helping his rich friends.
Now, Trump, they also allege, won't release his tax returns because he doesn't pay any taxes.
Right.
So he won't release his tax returns because he doesn't pay any taxes, and these tax cuts are so he can reduce the tax burden he doesn't pay.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's come full circle, Dan.
No, those two things are not, well, those are just, those are mutually exclusive positions, but that's the entertainment the left provides intellectually. For more on this topic, with everything coming up roses inside the Beltway all of a sudden, Obamacare 2.0 signed on, Obamacare replaced 2.0 signed on by the Freedom Caucus, this big tax cut package. Happy days are here again in D.C. Congressman Peter Roskam joins us now for more. Congressman, thanks for being with us.
And Amy, good morning. How you doing?
How about it? What's your reaction to what was proposed by the Trump administration on structural tax reform yesterday?
My reaction is very positive. These are themes that we've been talking about in the House Blueprint, for example, and there's a lot of alignment. There's some adjustments here and there, but I think the idea that the Trump team is now stepping forth with their own plan, recognizing that now is the time for the legislative process to fully engage, well, let's go. And what you're going to see over the next several months is reconciling and bringing together everybody so that we're talking about one plan, not competing plans, but that these get developed into one plan. And, the fundamental theme that Cohn and Mnuchin were talking about yesterday was growth, to restore growth and buoyancy to the economy, and fundamental tax reform is the name of the game to do it.
Are you concerned that it'll add on to our national debt? Or that's just a fallacy? So, you are concerned? Okay.
Yeah, so here's the part that we've got to discuss as a country. On the Republican side, we've got to make a decision about this, and here's one way to think about it. The best tax policy that we can get is permanent tax policy. One of the weaknesses that we have in our country is we have temporary tax policy and permanent spending policy.
Right.
Let's switch that around. Let's have permanent tax policy. Okay, in order to get permanent tax policy and to influence more behavior, that has to be paid for. You gotta get rid of loopholes. You gotta do the hard work of tax reform as opposed to just kind of doing some of the easy stuff. So the hard work is worth doing, it's worth pursuing, it's worth really investing a lot of time and energy into because you get permanence. Let me make one other quick point. Think about it. If what we're trying to do is say to American corporations, American businesses, we want you to reshore your manufacturing operations. We want you to bring your research and development facilities back here. If we want to influence that, then those decision makers lawmakers are going to be making those decisions. But if they say, hey, this whole thing's going to expire in 10 years, I'm not going to reshore a whole production line. I'm not going to do a research and development facility. You take my point, that we need permanent policy, and you get a lot more growth with permanent policy, and you got to pay for it.
What about permanent policy on the spend side, though? I mean, there's a lot of...
Amen to that. Look,
yeah.
The House over the past 6 years has passed budgets that have said, we'll take on Medicare, the biggest sacred cow of all time, basically, and we passed budgets, expanded our majorities, the talking class or the chattering class, that if you guys take on Medicare in your budget and propose, really significant changes, you're going to lose the majority. Turned out not to be true. So in the Margaret Thatcher admonition, first you win the debate, then you win the vote. We won the debate on Medicare. Unfortunately, President Trump, during the course of his campaign, said he's not willing to touch Medicare. So that's disappointing because I think that that's where we could do a lot of saving in terms of updating things. But I take your point. Got to revisit these programs. And the ideal is to get the spending side under control and then raise revenues to meet real needs as opposed to the other way around.
So, Congressman, what do you think that this new tax plan means for the middle class or, say, a family of four with $60,000 a year?
Look, it's good news. It's good news for everybody up and down, because you're collapsing these rates down. We're proposing, and I think the Trump team proposes this too, keep the mortgage interest deduction, keep the charitable deduction, refashion some of these things in terms of incentivizing people, using tax incentives for retirement savings, for example. But a family of four with $60,000, this is good news for them. There's no question about it.
And the budget shutdown, or the government shutdown. That is not. There's no such thing. It's a temporary furlough of non-essential workers, with 82% of the federal government still operating on autopilot. But the hysteria about that, which I know is not going to come to pass, particularly since Trump walked away from the funding in the immediacy for the border wall. What about the continued funding of Planned Parenthood there? Why has that not been stripped out?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big problem, and you can do Planned Parenthood funding on a year-by-year basis, and this is one of the areas that there's going to be a lot of debate and discussion today, even within the next several hours. So it's not a foregone conclusion that everything moves forward as people perceive it to be right now.
But that's something that should be removed because that was a promise that Republicans made.
No question about it. And I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Well, why aren't members of the Freedom Caucus demanding that?
Look, it's hard to speak for every member of Congress or for every member of the Freedom Caucus or anybody. But the idea is that there's so many moving parts right now. You got this government shutdown thing, you've got tax policy, you've got health care, and there's I think what the White House is now trying to do is fundamentally interact with Capitol Hill in new ways. And I think the White House was fairly dismissive in the past about the kind of the undertows and the cross currents trying to get something done on Capitol Hill, and they're trying to prioritize as well. So that's the state of play on a Thursday morning in Washington.
Are they improving their game? It seems to be, with the Freedom Caucus endorsing Obamacare Replace 2.0 yesterday and seeming to put that on a glide path to passage out of the House and over to the Senate, and then the process continues.
Well, I'm a little counterintuitive on this. After the bill failed, my view was dump the bill. And we're in this situation now because congressional Republicans, myself included, never passed out the bill to which we aspire. We never passed out like the great health care alternative because there was not a conservative consensus on health care. And rather than doing the hard work of driving and creating consensus with legislative text, we all took the easier path. And the easier path was criticize what we don't like about Obamacare, and there's so much to criticize. There was a lot to talk about. And then talk in more generalities about the things that we do like, but never driving to consensus. I think had we done that hard work then, we'd be better off now. Now we could pass out the bill to which we aspire, And let the United States Senate explain to the world when it is that they use 51 votes and when it is that they use 60 votes, because I can't explain it. It's ridiculous. So let the Senate marinate in the Senate rules, and let them, rather than being basically professional critics, let them be the ones that explain, this and reveal this Senate rule to the rest of the world. So, and now we're sort of falling into this new trap, in my view, and the new trap is another element of a bill that's negotiated by a small group of people. And, where's the text of the bill? Where's the hearings on the bill? Where's the language of the bill? You take my point. It's not a particularly good scene.
Before we let you go, I'm going to keep harping on this. I know last time we spoke, you and other members of Ways and Means had sent a letter to the White House about IRS Commissioner John Koskinen and Lois Lerner and the underlying issue of the IRS's abuses of Americans. Seems like a good time to revisit this with a structural tax package being proposed. Where does that stand?
I wholeheartly agree. The best thing is for two things to happen. One, President Trump should fire John Koskinen. He serves, Koskinen, the commissioner of the IRS, serves at the pleasure of the president. The president can simply dismiss him. We've not heard from the White House after we've asked him to do that. The second thing is we need the Attorney General of the United States, Jeff Sessions, to review and take up this case against Lois Lerner. The statute of limitations has not lapsed. The chairman of the Ways and Means Committee and I wrote formally to the Attorney General, and we've not heard back. So checking the mailbox, but no replies yet.
All right. He is Congressman Peter Roskam, of course, Republican from Illinois' 6th Congressional District out in the Western Burbs. Peter, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
LPS Corporation in Franklin Park is proud to support Food for the Poor and AM 560 The Answer. LPS Corporation sells and services meat processing equipment for supermarkets and packing houses throughout the Chicagoland area. They also offer a wide assortment of handcrafted, quality seasonings and marinades to add just the right flavor to your culinary creations. From grinding, stuffing, mixing, and slicing to flavoring meats and packaging meats, LPS Corporation does it all. They also have free training classes that teach you how to create delicious sausage, salami, lunch meats, and more using authentic Italian products and taught by technicians from Italy. LPS Corporation, food processing equipment, supplies, and service to help your supermarket or packing house run efficiently each and every day. For more info, call 847-451-2222 or visit them in Franklin Park at 2308 17th Street. Choose LPS Corporation for meat processing equipment, supplies, and service.
I'm James Furr. I'm a 70-year-old Vietnam veteran, and I have hepatitis C. My main focus was to take care of hepatitis C. Taking Balance of Nature did other things for me. I was feeling more energetic. My mental acuity had increased. When I play golf, I would notice that bending over to line up a putt, I would have a bit of a struggle to stand back up. But even now, 10 years later, I stand up better than I did then. Taking Balance of Nature, getting fruits and vegetables into your system is just another way to deal with hepatitis C. I will live happily with hepatitis C instead of feeling like I want to die because someone's trying to cure me of it. But thanks to Balance of Nature, I live a normal, happy, healthy, pain-free life.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
When it comes to your home, nothing's more important than your roof. Everything underneath depends on it, right? Even if it's not leaking just yet, you know it's important to be proactive and repair or replace it before you have a problem. And if you're in Chicagoland, the decision on who to call is easy. You call the Champion. That's Champion Roofing. For over 3 decades, Champion Roofing has provided great service and beautiful roofs at competitive prices. It starts with the Champion expertise. Using quality materials plus the latest high-tech equipment, Champion skilled tradesmen will complete your job on time and to your satisfaction. So if a new or repaired roof is on your list this spring, don't hesitate to call the champion of roofing now. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Call Champion Roofing today for your free estimate, 847-673-7663, or visit championroofing.com. That's 847-673-7663, or online at championroofing.com. 847-673-7663.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
The good news? Our business is growing. The bad news? We have to hire again.
Ugh, the searching.
Where do we look?
What if we hire the wrong person?
Actually, we could use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter?
ZipRecruiter makes hiring fast and easy. With one click, our job would be posted to 100 leading job sites.
But are the candidates any good?
You bet. As soon as we post our job, ZipRecruiter starts identifying the best matches and notifies them to apply, all within minutes. Well,
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates fast with ZipRecruiter. Find out why ZipRecruiter has been used by hundreds of thousands of businesses in a variety of industries nationwide. Right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Spring is here. The birds, the bees, and seasonal allergies. The last thing you need is a pillow you're allergic to. And yes, MyPillow is hypoallergenic. A good night's sleep is so important to our health. For April, you'll receive the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That's 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. With MyPillow, you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need, regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No waking up to a stiff neck or headache. Our good friend Mike Lindell manufactures them in the good old USA. What's great is you can wash and dry your MyPillow, and of course, you'll get the 10-year warranty with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Get 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy. Or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Stop the runaround. Continental Audi of Naperville puts you in the driver's seat with straight talk and no hassle. Plus, we offer maintenance, valet service, and VIP loyalty rewards after the sale. It's the Continental difference. Right now, lease a new Audi A4 Quattro Premium Sedan for $419 a month, or lease the incredible Audi A6 for $499 a month. Continental Audi of Naperville has a large selection, including more than 300 new and pre-driven vehicles ready to drive. Plus, qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on certified Audis. Drive an Audi and feel the difference in your driving enjoyment. Drive an Audi from Continental, and you'll know the difference an exceptional dealership can make. Experience the Continental Audi difference. ContinentalAudi.com.
36 monthly, $35.44 due at Sunday. Includes first month payment, no security tax, extra. Leasing responsible for 25 cents over 30,000 miles and excessive wear and tear. Subject to credit approval through Audi Financial Services.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. You know, most people flunk on their first go-around signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
AM 560. The Answer.
So there's news that the Florida Marlins might be purchased by none other than Jeb Bush.
Please clap. Please clap.
And Derek Jeter. It's part of a consortium of a group of investors. And I don't know if, they do play games on Sundays. Sunday, fun day. It might cut into the fun over there at the Jeb household.
What do you like to do, though? What do I like to do? To relax. I like to do Sunday fun day with my two precious granddaughters that live in Miami with Jeb Jr. and Sandra. I make guacamole.
Guacamole.
I'm so out of touch. It's so uncomfortable in his own skin. It was just a hard moment, but a moment I'll never forget on the campaign trail.
Those poor Florida Marlins players don't know what they're in for with that madcap Jeb Bush.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Illinois Democrats are pursuing a progressive agenda to pander to and try and buffalo suburban women. We're going to talk to one suburban business owner about their latest legislation at 8:08.
And later, some breaking news and culture may be at Berkeley today. We'll explain how and why. But first, here's Mike Scott.
The search is over for a missing 1-year-old in Joliet Township. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. President Trump has called NAFTA the worst trade deal ever. And now he's ready to redo it. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump tweeting this morning, if we do not reach a fair deal for all, we will then terminate NAFTA. Relationships are a good deal, very possible. This after the president had a call last night with the leaders of Mexico and Canada, in which he informed them that he would not immediately move to terminate the North American Free Trade Agreement. Instead, the president said he will work with both countries to renegotiate the trade deal. Doing that requires approval from Congress. Last week, the president called NAFTA very, very bad for the country. Dave?
And John, the president will sign an executive order today in the wake of the VA scandal of poor veteran health care and long wait times. This would allow the VA secretary to fire employees more easily. Democrats are calling the president's tax reform plan bad for the middle class. The White House calls it the biggest tax cut ever, simplifying tax returns with 3 brackets, 10, 25, and 35%.
The plan doubles the standard deduction for married couples to $24,000, but it also eliminates nearly all deductions apart from those for mortgage interest and contributions to charity.
Fox's Garrett Tenney.
Business groups are also praising the plan to drop the corporate tax rate, which is currently the highest in the world, from 35% to 15%.
Police are still outside that house in Middletown, Delaware, where a suspected cop killer has been barricaded since yesterday. It was a long night for neighbors.
Starting at about 1 a.m., there was, explosions, and there would, be 5 explosions in a row, boom, 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 boom.
All this after a state trooper was shot and killed outside a convenience store. United Airlines is making another change a few weeks after the infamous video showing a passenger being bloodied, dragged off a flight, so a United crew member could take the seat. It's already said it won't remove passengers who've already boarded planes anymore. Now United's upping the amount of money it'll offer customers to voluntarily leave, up to $10,000. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
56 degrees, cloudy skies in Chicago. It's 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. United Airlines says it will offer as much as $10,000 to passengers who volunteer to give up their seats on overbooked flights. United CEO Oscar Munoz with NBC News.
And I own the policies and procedures and the common sense and the empowerment, if you will, of those people to do the right things, because a circumstance like we've all witnessed should have never happened.
The offer is one of several changes the airline is making after a passenger was dragged off a plane by Chicago Aviation Department security. Meantime, the union representing aviation police officers trying to stop the city from removing the word police from the force's uniforms and vehicles. The move by Chicago officials and the mayor's office comes in response to that United Airlines passenger incident. Mayor Emanuel says the effort is part of an ongoing process.
That has been in the works for a while, and there's reflective of a whole series of discussions between aviation security and the police that work there. Those are divisions.
The union filed an unfair labor practice complaint yesterday with the Illinois Labor Relations Board. An Illinois Retirement Board is terminating the pension that imprisoned former U.S. House Speaker Dennis Hastert had collected for his service in the Illinois General Assembly. An investigation is now ongoing after a 1-year-old girl who went missing in Joliet Township was found dead. Will County Sheriff says the body of Samaja Crosby was discovered late last night inside a home in the 300 block of Lewis Road. Last night, NBA first-round playoff action. Boston beat the Bulls 108-97. Pirates hang on to beat the Cubs 6-5. And the White Sox finish sweeping out the Royals with a 5-2 win. The news service of Cabela's. It's springtime. Time to get out. No, way out. And time to get inspired at Cabela's. Cabela's Camping Classic, your one stop before the campfire. 20% off Cabela's Endicott packs. 25% off lanterns and lights, and 30% off all-season cots. Shop in-store or online at Cabela's.com. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, despite Ford recalls and weaker sales, its start to the year was stronger than expected. Ford was expected to report slower sales because its first quarter of 2016 was its best on record as it debuted the redesigned F-150 pickup. Southwest Airlines' quarter was disappointing. The company says Easter was later this year. That delayed people's travel. It was also charging less for tickets and paying more for fuel. It looks like Chipotle's data breach can't stop the company's recovery. MarketWatch says sales growth was in the double digits at the start of the year, and analysts say it shows no signs of slowing. Chipotle Mexican Grill reported unauthorized activity on its payment processing network, but analysts say its business is picking up. The Dow dropped 21 points yesterday, the Nasdaq was down a point, and the S&P slipped a fraction. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
For half a century, Schrenk's Smoke & Gun has been the firearms store generations of customers trust. Stop in during the month of April and save 10% on an AR, plus receive a free box of ammo. Check out over 700 firearms in stock, including a huge selection of AR rifles from LWRC, Smith & Wesson, Civilian Force Arms made in Illinois, and more. Schrenk's has Lake County's largest selection of new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, and every kind of ammo you'll need. Plus collectibles, older functioning hunting rifles, and full gunsmith services. Don't forget, during the month of April, save 10% on store-owned ARs and receive a free box of ammo. And as always, cigar lovers, you'll find your favorites at Schrenk's. Drive north to avoid the Cook County taxes. Visit smoke_gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrenk's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Writing job descriptions, sifting through resumes, setting up interviews. Hiring's hard, but Indeed.com makes it easier. Post your job, manage candidates, schedule interviews, all on Indeed. And since independent research shows that Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, easy works. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
8:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delay started Dempster, 38 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 43. The Kennedy, an hour and 16 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour 8. The Eisenhower's an hour and 19 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, an hour from Mannheim outbound. It's an hour and 22 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 16 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound, 55 minutes. Bryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, delay start at Hollywood, 40 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Tri-State southbound, stop and go, 132 to 176. Northbound Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway slow Orchard to Farnsworth, and Winfield much of the way to Tri-State. Baton Rouge Memorial has delays. Boughton, St. Charles, and Army Trail to 290. 8094 has delays in both directions. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
After a brief morning shower or two, it will remain mostly cloudy for the day. Breezy with wind gusts around 30 miles per hour, high 53. Mostly cloudy through the night, low 43. Then tomorrow, occasional rain for the afternoon, high 61 and a low of 41. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
57 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And before we talk the business climate in Illinois, let's talk about the great business benefactors we have in our listening audience that are supporting our golf outing this year, June 15th at Bolingbrook Golf Club, as it has been in past years. 2 shotgun time, 7:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon. And we want to thank the businesses that have participated to really aid our partner, which is the 100 Club of Chicago this year. The 100 Club of Chicago provides resources for families who have a spouse that has been killed in the line of duty as a police officer, as a firefighter, as a paramedic in Cook and Lake County, so Chicagoland area. The money stays locally. More than 260 families they've helped in their half a century in existence. $10 million worth of benefits, including providing educational assistance for the children of a fallen officer or first responder through college. And we want to thank businesses including Anion Blinds, Just Target Guns, American Financial Association, PCG Consulting, McPherson Public Affairs Group, Unique Repair Service, Tax-Free Retirement, Romar Transportation Systems, Condor Building, Armbrust Plumbing, Singular Sports Zone, Morrison Security, playing with Amy, the already declared the victor of the scramble. Yeah. Robex Truck and Auto, Integrity Partnership, Midwest Performance Cars, playing with me. Chicago Fiberglass Works, playing with Walsh. Topple Plumbing, Precision Payroll of America. Thank you very much for your philanthropy.
And we still have some slots open, but they're filling up quickly, some foursome slots. And here's what we want you to do. We want you to call this number. If you're a business owner, if you do the marketing or make the marketing decisions for your company, the number is 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. And if you become a business benefactor, what we will give to you as a way of saying thank you for your donations, 25 60-second commercials. That's a $3,000 value for only $1,196. 312-363-6680. And these commercials will air prime time, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday, right here on AM 560. But really, I mean, the need is great to raise money for the 100 Club of Chicago. Can you imagine if you had a firefighter or a police officer, sheriff's deputy who didn't come home from work? And there's a lot of emotions involved, of course, a lot of money is involved too. Money is a factor. So the 100 Club, within 24 hours, somebody will go to their house and present them with a $15,000 check. No questions asked. More will be coming, but just so that you can make funeral arrangements, so that you could get by, so that you could survive, because you don't need to worry about money in a traumatic time like that. Right now, they're helping 20 Chicago area children receive educational assistance. 67 children in this state are eligible for future educational service assistance. So the need is great. We need your help. This is not a government program. This is people helping people. And we want your help. We need your help. So help us give to the 100 Club of Chicago by joining our golf outing on Thursday, June 15th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Again, operators are standing by to sign up your foursome, 312-363-6680.
All right, so turning to Illinois, legislation advanced by a state representative, Anna Moeller, out of Elgin.
Is this the antique moped?
No, that's
How's that one doing? Because I lost sleep over that.
That's Michelle Mussman's baby. She's a Democrat from Schaumburg. Ms. Moeller, representative Democrat from Elgin. The measure she has sponsored, this is, according to her, to close the pay gap between men and women. The measure would bar employers from asking job applicants for prior wage or salary history unless it's already public information or the applicant is moving within the company. Well, because then they'd know. Moeller, this would curb wage discrimination against women by ensuring an employer's salary offer isn't based on an unequal wage. You support that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Why don't we talk to a practitioner in the space? She is Dr. Amy Farmer-Derrick. She is, her business, she's a dermatologist, is based in Elgin.
Mm-hmm.
She has 180 employees.
Wow, that's a big business.
Operation, very successful. She has 150 of 180 employees who are women. Amy Derrick, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, hi, Dan and Amy. This legislation is geared to solve the issue that women are historically underpaid, and that if a woman is required to disclose her salary history, she'll continue to get underpaid. But for someone like me, who is a strong supporter of women, who hires many women, who doesn't discriminate against women, it basically doesn't allow me the ability to ask, for business reasons, someone's previous salary or verify the salary that they say that they have. And there's legitimate business reasons to ask someone's previous history, regardless of gender, because it's important in negotiating someone's contract. If you're paying $50,000 to $70,000, that's a range of pay that you'd pay for a certain job, and someone's currently making $30,000, it's going to be a different discussion than someone who's currently making $70,000.
Well, I hope you're paying your male employees as much as you're paying your female employees.
Oh, yes. We're very worried about that.
Yeah, we the issue really is if women were doing equal work and being compensated less, there's really no reason to hire a man. I mean, there's
exactly.
right. So in many regards, this is geared towards making sure that people aren't discriminated against. But in a practical sense, if you were going to discriminate against women, you would just offer them less later. So for people like me, for sure, who are not discriminating against women, it penalizes everyone because it makes it illegal for everyone to ask that question.
And just in case, I mean, this seems fairly straightforward, the explanation you just provided, the business reasons. But in case there are members of the General Assembly listening who don't understand these concepts or are choosing to ignore them, I mean, what's the impact if you were forced to live under this stricture, if this was signed into law? How would that impact your business operationally as you try and conceive this? When that conversation, when you can't have that conversation about salary history, so perhaps the salaries are artificially inflated, and perhaps that leads to different employment decisions.
Right. I think that it's just important in negotiation that you would know the person's what the person is leaving, because if you have that information, you're able to negotiate something that's mutually beneficial. And truthfully, if you didn't want to tell your future employer or the person you were interviewing with your current salary, you wouldn't have to. I mean, it's a freedom of information exchange between two consenting parties. And I would feel bad if, for example, I had someone move out of state into our state who was making, let's say the $70,000. If they were making $65,000 elsewhere and I was offering them $70,000, it would be a lot more pressure as an employer because that person's making such a sacrifice to move, and you would know that when you were negotiating with that person. and you would have better information to make a decision.
Just one state rep who's a friend of mine, she's Margaret McDermott. She's a Republican out of Mokina, and she worked for BP Amoco for 30 years as a corporate attorney. She said in response to this bill, I may be one of the few people in this assembly that's spent 30 years working for a large corporation. Yeah, I'd say so. In fact, one of the largest corporations in the world. That was my life, and I have to vote for this bill. I think about, with very great regret, how much more I would have retired with if we had some of the protections that our representative is fighting for here today. This is a Republican who's going, because I just want to make sure that this is, not a partisanship. This is a Republican who's going south on this. How do you reply to Representative McDermott, who was a corporate lawyer for a long time?
I can empathize with her situation. I think that the problem that I have is related to the fact that you're making it illegal to ask that question. If the representative had been undercompensated for a long time in her corporate job, I mean, there's always the opportunity to be employed elsewhere. And for me, who is, as I mentioned before, who is a strong proponent of employing females and compensating them well, it makes it assume almost in a paternalistic way that I'm going to discriminate. If I ask a salary question, it's only to discriminate against women. I mean, really, that has nothing to do with it. You're asking because you're negotiating a contract, not because you're trying to figure out how to pay women less. That's for sure.
Right.
So obviously you're frustrated that the government on a local level is trying to tell you how to do your job and how to hire people in the interview process.
Yeah, I mean, the interview rules have become very, very strict. You can't ask, for example, if someone's a felon. You can't ask pre-interview if someone's a felon because it apparently is racially discriminatory, which is very insulting, I think, to people of color because, I mean, it's crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
But for me, if someone is a felon, I obviously don't want to even interview them because I have a medical practice and wouldn't want to have a person who's a felon accessing sensitive information for my patients or risk the fines associated with a breach, multi-million-dollar fines related to compromising patients' information. So the issue is that it's legal to, after an interview, then discriminate against them because they're a felon. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and part of other legislators and other trade associations have weighed in too, and they suggest this may have something to do with the popularity of legislation like this among the trial bar, and this could be a boon for plaintiffs' attorneys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a very complicated issue, and I'm sure the person from Elgin, the rep, had intentions to protect the compensation of women. It's just there are some consequences of that type of regulation, which impacts actual business transactions between mutually consenting parties in the terms of a contract.
Well, and the other thing too, I mean, just thinking this through is. It comes from a perspective that business exists as private businesses like yours exist as jobs programs, not service providers, which is what a business really is. It's a service provider. If you don't provide good services, you don't stay in business unless you're the government. And you try and maximize profit so you can, do things like, I don't know, pay your employees, expand your business, hire more people.
Crazy talk, Dan.
Is that? I mean, the philosophy. I mean, it seems to me. I don't know your perspective as a business owner, one who's expanding in Illinois, which is something we don't talk about a lot here because we don't run into people doing it. Is the perspective that state government has, as Pat Quinn famously said, as people with the ability to pay, that you exist for the benefit of politicians who want to make a particular point rather than for your customers, your clients, and your employees.
So if you think about it this way, my business has evolved. We're open 7 to 7, 5 days a week. So if you work 3 days a week, 7 to 7, you are full-time with benefits. So my business, because it has been profitable and exists, has been able to support the livelihoods of many single mothers who can work 3 days a week, 7 to 7, and get full-time with benefits and be home 4 days a week. And so because our business is functional and profitable, we're able to expand into multiple different communities and take care of patients. We save lives. There's 322 people we found melanomas last year, which saves their lives. Of all there's 13 dermatologists in Chicago Magazine's top cancer doctors, and 5 of those people are in private practice, and 3 of those dermatologists are dermatologists. And that's because I have focused on the quality of care that I provide to our patients and I don't need to undercompensate people to be able to survive. I compensate people better than they receive elsewhere, and keep my employees happy. It's just that when you make a rule like this, in order to regulate the bad players, you hurt the good players too, the people who are trying to make a difference. I'm from Illinois. I don't want to leave my parents live in the community, and I don't want to leave the state. But layers upon layers upon layers of regulation, it just makes it very hard to function in the state.
She is Amy Farmer Derrick. She is a proprietor of a dermatology practice, a going concern, a very successful one in Illinois, based in Elgin. Amy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time and insights.
Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
And she joined us on our Turnkey.Pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Big government overreach. Your phone calls coming up. 312-642-5600 is our Turnkey.Pro answer line. Forecast for today, some morning rain. That was the name of Dan's junior high school band.
Milli Vanilli cover band.
Yeah. Otherwise, today it's going to be breezy later by the afternoon. Cooler, a high of 53 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim.
The travel times are high. It's Dan and Amy on the Edens inbound. Delays start around Oakton. It's 44 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 39 to Kennedy. An hour and 18 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 40 minutes from Montrose. 26 in the Express. Big savings there. Outbound an hour and 16 minutes downtown to the airport. The Ike, an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound, it's an hour 5. Stevenson, an hour 16. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 55 minutes. Ryan is 33 minutes. 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed. Hollywood to North Avenue. And 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound Oakwood, much of the way to Jackson. Tri-State southbound delays are from 132 to 176. Northbound Cicero to 31st. Reagan Toy to North Avenue. Reagan Toy very heavy after a crash at Farnsworth. The delays start at Orchard, and it's slow in pockets from Raymond to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial, slow. I-55 to St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I found out several years ago that I have hepatitis C, and I didn't want to be one of those guinea pigs that the doctors wanted to try all sorts of different things on. So I was looking for a more healthy alternative, and that's how I found Balance of Nature. I've had absolutely no symptoms since I started taking Balance of Nature. Within 3 months, my liver enzymes were next to normal, and they had been very highly elevated. I enjoy a very full life. I own several businesses and working 60 hours a week, and before I started taking Balance of Nature, I couldn't even work full-time.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor. And Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Barron, built their business over 3 decades by being just that, trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Now, Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any other type of remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Barron. I know because I called him myself. And guess what? He picks up the phone and he makes the appointments. So call Joe Barron today at Dependable Construction. Mention AM 560 and receive 10% off most jobs. So call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091. If you've been thinking about a remodeling job or if you need tuck pointing or a new roof, you need to call Joe Barron at Dependable Construction, 773-244-1091, or visit tuckpointchicago.net. That's tuckpointchicago.net.
So, for the past 8 years, you've wanted to sell your home but couldn't because you were underwater. Well, thankfully, those days are over. Almost every town in the Chicagoland area is experiencing a strong seller market. I'm John Wright with the Wright Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, and we have ready, willing, and able buyers and not enough homes to offer them. So if you've been thinking about a move across town or a move out of Illinois to a more tax-friendly environment, give me a call. We promise to give you an honest, professional, and experienced opinion on the value of your home. If you like what you hear and feel we're a good fit, let's do business. And if not, we'll still part as friends. The spring market is off to a busy start, so give me a call at 630-202-7241. I look forward to getting to know you.
Call John Wright and the Wright Real Estate Group of Keller Williams at 630-202-7241 or visit WrightRealEstateGroup.com. They'll get you moving at the speed of Wright.
I'm Chris Walls, and I'm a truck driver from Missouri. For 13 hours a night, I sit in my truck and I drive. Out of boredom, I'll stop and eat. If I'm not doing fast food, I guarantee there's a bag of chips open on my dashboard. That was all until Andro 400. I started out 4 months ago, and since taking Andro 400, I have dropped 45 pounds. I'm sleeping better. There's no cravings. I actually don't even think about food. My knee pain went away. I've had some lower back issues, and I've noticed that went away, and I can only contribute that to Andro 400. One thing that Andro 400 said on the radio ad is it attacks belly fat. Well, let me tell you, it did. The second month is where I saw a drastic change in the size of my stomach. I've lost 6 inches. This product really does work.
So guys, if you'd like to experience similar results, then get Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Hey, remember Jackie Evancho? She got her debut on NBC's America's Got Talent, fresh from her spotlight performance, singing the national anthem at the presidential inauguration. Jackie Evancho is now coming to the Genesee Theater in Waukegan Friday, May 19th. So visit GeneseeTheater.com. AM 560 The Answer is giving away tickets through the mobile app. Download or visit our app now to register for your chance to win. Good luck.
AM 560 The Answer.
Can we squeeze in a phone call?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's pick this up on the other side of the news. I want to pick up on the conversation we had with Amy Derrick, dermatologist, about Illinois legislation and what the Democrats are doing. And specifically, I want to hear from suburban women because they're running a game on you. This is what the Democrats are doing. They cannot address anything that is structurally devastated with respect to Illinois' economy, Illinois' state finances, the important programs that the state administers. So it's about breastfeeding accommodation mandates in schools. It's about this quote-unquote wage anti-discrimination bill. It's about funding abortions with other people's money. That's their agenda to try to appeal to suburban women because that's their pathway to maintaining a majority, supermajority, winning the governor's mansion. Are you going to fall for it? 312-642-5600. Take your calls.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we're following a developing story in the waters of the Black Sea this morning where Turkey's state-run news agency says the prime minister has been on the phone with his Russian counterpart to express sadness over a major ship collision. A Russian Navy reconnaissance ship has sunk off the Istanbul coastline after colliding with a freighter. Right now, all of the Russian sailors are safe. United Airlines says it will offer as much as $10,000 to passengers who volunteer to give up their seats on overbooked flights. United CEO Oscar Munoz spoke with NBC News.
And I own the policies and procedures and the common sense and the empowerment, if you will, of those people to do the right things because a circumstance like we've all witnessed should have never happened.
The investigation is ongoing after a 1-year-old girl who went missing in Joliet Township has been found dead. Will County Sheriff said overnight the body of Samaja Crosby was discovered late last night inside a home in the 300 block of Lewis Road. An autopsy is scheduled for later today. A 120-year prison sentence has been handed a Chicago man convicted of kidnapping and then recording himself sexually assaulting a 3-year-old Mundelein girl in 2013. Jose Reyes was sentenced to 4 consecutive 30-year prison terms. He pled for mercy in front of Judge Mark Levitt. However, Levitt told Reyes the depths of his depravity were unmatchable. A suburban Roselle couple this morning is accused of stealing $200,000 from the College of DuPage. Cedric Ramey and Mary Ellen Ramey appeared in DuPage County Court yesterday. Their bond set at $1 million. Here's what they did. Prosecutors say the pair stole the money by using phony information to apply to the college and for federal loans and grants. They would then withdraw from the courses and receive a tuition reimbursement. Playoff basketball, Boston pulls away from the Bulls late with a 108-97 victory in Game 5. Pirates over the Cubs 6-5, and the White Sox finish off the Royals with a 3-game sweep and a 5-2 win. The news service of Napa Auto Parts this month at Napa Auto Parts stores. Lawn and garden batteries are as low as $21.99. So keep your mower mowing and your lawn looking sweet with a new lawn and garden battery with exchange. That's Napa know-how at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Metro's 95% on-time dependability helps you get to work on time no matter what's happening on the roads. Find the station nearest you at metrorail.com.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Some exciting news about Woodfield Nissan. Now, if you waited to buy your next car, there may never be a better opportunity to buy because Woodfield Nissan is drastically reducing the prices on all their new and used cars to make room for incoming inventory. Now, this is your chance to save between $4,000 to $14,000 off MSRP on brand new Nissans, and every new Nissan is on sale. No models will be held back. There's sure to be a car or a truck for you, so don't waste your time shopping around. Just go to Woodfield Nissan in Hoffman Estates. Choose from a huge collection of 2017 Nissan Altimas, Sentras, Rogues, and much more. Now available with 0% APR financing for 72 months. So what are you waiting for? The only place in the Midwest that I recommend you buy your new Nissan, Woodfield Nissan, just 2 miles west of the Woodfield Shopping Mall at Golf and Higgins, or just go to woodfieldnissan.com.
Prices are plus tax, title, license, and doc fee, and savings off MSRP. 0% to qualified buyers is $1,389 per $1,000 financed on select models. 2 or more available at this offer.
Most folks are scared to even begin the process of buying a new car. No doubt shopping for a new vehicle can be intimidating. You want a dealer that really helps you get the best car for you and your family and skips the high-pressure nonsense. That's Joe Cotton Ford. They're here to help you find the new Ford car or truck that fits your lifestyle and your budget with no hassles, no drama, no high-pressure sales tactics. Really. You just can't find that kind of great customer service these days, so relax. Car buying doesn't have to stress you out. At Joe Cotton Ford, you have their word. Your satisfaction is their top priority. In fact, that's why Joe Cotton Ford is one of the highest repeat customer dealerships in Chicagoland. They take pride in working with generations of Ford buyers and their families, whether they're buying their first vehicle or their 14th. Get to Joe Cotton Ford and drive home a new Ford car or truck today. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
It is 8:35, and let's get a check of the roads. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, it's a 36-minute drive. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 39 to Kennedy. Delay starting at Harlem, an hour and 18 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 40 minutes from Montrose, 26 in the Express. Outbound 50 minutes to Montrose, an hour 16 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 56 minutes from Manheim. Outbound an hour 5 to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour 19. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 50 minutes. Bryan is 32 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound stop and go 132 to 176. Northbound Cicero to 31st. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway is gummed up from Lee to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from Orchard to Farnsworth and in pockets from Raymond to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial delays. I-55 to St. Charles. Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Morning rain showers. Otherwise, a cloudy, breezy, and cooler day. High 53. Mostly cloudy, 43 overnight. Cloudy, a little bit warmer tomorrow. High near 63. Currently 56. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financially Free with Jim Dishart. Achieve peace of mind, security, and financial freedom. Listen every Sunday afternoon at 1 on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This
This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we were talking about Illinois legislation. Here's what the Democrats are doing. Mandating breastfeeding accommodations in K through 12 education. Free, quote unquote, meaning you pay, other people pay. Feminine hygiene products mandated in K through 12 education. House Bill 40, Medicaid funded abortions, which is opposed by a factor of 2 to 1 by the Illinois electorate. But they advanced it out of the House the other day anyway. Why? And I love, by the way, L.G. Sims, this Democrat from Chicago. How dare people question my faith, my Christian faith? And he, of course, cites Matthew, judge not lest ye be judged. So for the street corner theologians like L.G. Sims out there, just a point of order. Those who pretend to be Christians and support infanticide. That verse is an admonition against hypocrisy, not judgment, you goofball. Number one. Number two, let judge not. So this, silly argument that's made. Let's break this down a little bit. So if you vote for Medicaid-funded abortions, are you making a judgment about unborn life? Are you also making a judgment about what I may do with my money? So those who on the left who like to talk about not imposing morality on others, except when they do it, every law is a reflection of someone's morality. And I just wanted to use the opportunity to expose the rank hypocrisy of so many members of the Illinois General Assembly, as this comes as no surprise, and so many surface-skimming non-thinkers on the left. Now, the right needs to do a better job of explaining their position, too. But this is what the left is doing. It is all suburban women, suburban women, suburban women. And so we're going to do all of the emotive legislation, like I mentioned, and then this bill that we talked to the dermatologist, Amy Derrick, about, that's sponsored by a Democrat out of Elgin, Anna Moeller, that would prevent employers from asking job applicants their salary history unless it's public info. Good idea? And suburban women, are you going to fall for this yet again? The same suburban women who vote for the Anna Moellers out of Elgin and the Michelle Mussmans out of Schaumburg and all along the North Shore and the Deb Conroys in eastern DuPage County and the Jennifer Bertino Terrence in Will County, and I could go on and on and on. Are you going to fall for it again? Do you think that's all that matters in this state and all that matters to you, and you're willing to live down to the low opinion that the Democrats have of you, that you're nothing more than your female reproductive parts? Because that's what this is. And the phony baloney issue du jour, like wage discrimination, as we just highlighted by an actual business owner in this state who employs 80% plus of her 180 employees are women. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. I do think this legislation is stupid and good for the dermatologist for asking salary history so that she can offer greater money, perhaps, the salary than would have been offered. But look, that is not the norm, and this is also not a sex issue. It's nonsense. The government should not make asking salary history illegal, but not because of the reasons that were offered. It's because it's stupid. It's bad business. It's a business negotiation between parties. And you know what? It's irrelevant anyway. It's really only about the salary that an applicant and an employer can arrive at based upon the value to the business that the applicant brings.
Yeah, well, but wait a second, Ralph. Look, that's as an employer, that's my business if I ask that question, right?
Exactly.
And it's my business if I want to know if you've ever been convicted of a felony or, frankly, a misdemeanor.
It's true. It's true, and that's right, and that's why it becomes a negotiation. And if you're a business owner and you say, "Look, I'm not going to hire you unless you disclose your salary history," fine. That's what a negotiation is about. The applicant can say, "Forget it. I don't want to work there. I don't want to work with somebody like that." I've hired felons before, and I've also never asked anybody their salary history. It's irrelevant. It's always been about what that person brings to the job. And
yeah, but it should be your right as an employer to be able to ask that question. I mean, the government should not get involved.
I do. I agree. They shouldn't make it illegal. It's just dumb. It's overreach. I think the bigger issue is out there. All you people out there who are looking for positions, don't get bullied by people who want to hammer you for your salary history. If you don't want to provide it, don't provide it.
Yeah, well, sure.
You don't want to work.
Yeah.
If you don't want to work for somebody who refuses to go along with that, hey, part ways. I don't think you're going to be happy there anyway.
Okay, thanks for the call, Ralph. Yeah, well, of course, it works both ways. That's, exactly what Amy Derrick was saying is it's a mutually negotiated contract or employment arrangement. Yeah, so the prospective applicant has the right to walk away, too, if they don't like the deal. I mean, but understand, they want us to have this discussion, and they want us to put it in this male-female binary because they don't want us to discuss the destruction of the civic institutions in this state and its economy at the hands of Chicago Democrat crime families. And they want suburban women to be focused on breastfeeding at schools and contraception and feminine hygiene products that are free and not taxing them, and all of these other ancillary issues that are women's issues. We're standing up for women's issues. They're playing cheap gender identity politics, and I want to know if people are going to fall for it again, because they have been falling for it. Make no mistake about it. We don't have the composition of the General Assembly. We don't have the political culture in this state if suburban women weren't falling a large, not all obviously, but a significant percentage based on the representatives in the General Assembly and the voting patterns, by the way. If suburban women in suburban Cook and the Collars weren't falling for this bull jive, it would be a completely different state. Melissa in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I'm going to give you the other flip side of the coin here. I quit a job 12 years ago at the birth of my first child. I have a husband who is a high earner. I have several neighbors who have husbands who are high earners and wives, etc. There needed to be a parent at home. Okay? We can't have two people working 80 hours a week. I don't need the money at this point. But now I'm ready to reenter the workforce, and I'm going out and I'm looking for a job. Okay? I put on an application what I made 12 years ago, 10 years ago. If I put it in a CPI calculator, I'm out $100,000 a year. Got it?
Well, you mean you're
So
out?
I'm out. My salary on a CPI inflation-adjusted basis would be approximately $100,000
okay.
a year
Okay.
with stock, benefits, salary, etc.
Yeah, okay.
And genuinely, when I walk in, and most people aren't bright enough to do the math unless they deal with economics for a living, they don't see that. So you step in my shoes. I have a child with some medical needs. Up until this point, I could not go back to work. It wasn't worth the money. And you know what, Dan? It's not women sitting home and eating bonbons.
I didn't say that.
I know
never
many
said that.
people who are Catholic Christian families.
Never said that.
These are people with law degrees, MBAs, etc. They're older mothers.
Don't. That's fine, Melissa, but don't erect a straw man argument.
Well,
Something I never said.
I'm just saying, Dan, there's a lot of people in a precarious position here because once your kids hit the teen years, 12, 13 years old, you need the cash flow. And it's very disenfranchising to go out and be a working professional for 15 years, college educated, and tell people and have people say to you, I can only pay you $60,000 a year.
Well,
it's very demoralizing. And, you know,
okay.
There's an opportunity cost here, Dan. That doctor, I bet you if she has a husband who's at home, who's an attorney, a lawyer, etc., they need somebody at home to run the show. Okay, it's not an easy gig, and she'll tell you that as an employer with 150 people.
Yeah, Melissa, I understand that, and by the way, I think she runs the business with her husband, which is fine.
Right.
And
That's great.
my mom stayed at home while my dad worked, so I understand the trade-offs. You don't have to experience something to appreciate it,
Right, but
to understand it.
my issue is when I go out and I apply for a job, they automatically start making assumptions. Well, what does your husband do for a living? That's not their business. Why were you at home for 12 years? That's not your business that my child had a medical issue. What is your business and what is my business is I bring a college degree from a highly regarded university and a set of professional skills to this table that are still valuable.
Yeah, well,
and I'm not going to get off cheap at $60,000 a year when my professional skills are bringing you a value of $80,000 a year.
Okay, but I mean, but how do you? So why should an employer be forced to accept that argument rather than assess that argument? And some people may agree with you and the argument that you just laid out, and other people may not, and it's their business.
It is their business, but the problem is these people, okay, unless they're highly analytical people, are not going to do the math and run it through a CPI calculator, okay? That's the issue. There's a lot of tertiary issues here, and this is not a gender issue, Dan. This is a parenting and caregiver issue.
Well, it's also a workforce interruption issue because you've been out of the workforce, and so an employer may also. And I don't know your particular skill sets or industry or anything. I'm just saying this generally speaking. I'm just using the issue of not being in the workforce for an extended period of time. And an employer may say, well, perhaps this person doesn't have, her skills or his skills are not current. And so there will be a higher learning curve for this person who's been out of the workforce than somebody who's been continually in the workforce for the past dozen years.
Correct.
Is that fair?
It is fair, Dan. But I think the issue is literally people getting off cheap. And I'm not asking for $100K a year. What I am asking for is a dialogue. And I will divulge some personal information if necessary, if you want to ask me what my spouse does for a living.
Well,
got it?
I think it's fair for them to ask you why you haven't been in the workforce for 12 years. But
absolutely, it's fair. But, like I said, we're out a lot of money, okay? But I think most people who are professionals that have had two people in the workforce working 60 to 70 hours a week, commuting downtown, it's not worth it. You just hit a breaking point by the time you hit 3, 4 kids.
Well,
it isn't.
Yeah, I understand that. I get that.
I mean, I'm sorry, but even $60,000 a year, it just when your family income is $150 to $2 and above a year, it just doesn't make sense.
Thanks for the call, Melissa. I appreciate it. Appreciate the back and forth in your story, and good luck with the job hunt. And part of this too, I have to go back and say, so that with the structural issues in Illinois that are different than other states, we pay the highest state and local tax burden in the country. And yet we have the highest unfunded pension liabilities. We have the greatest backlog of bills. We have the worst credit rating. Guess what? Those two are linked. And you have an economy that doesn't provide opportunities for the Melissas of the world like they could potentially see in other states where you've got more demand than there is labor supply. That is not the case in Illinois like it is in other states. And that also materially impacts stories like Melissa's and other people that are searching for a job and searching for a job that can make it make sense to do. So that's why I say, are you going to buy the Democrats' scam again when they want to talk about abortion and breastfeeding while you're trying to find a job to help support your family? What about those things? Because this is what the Democrats have been successful at doing. And there's some blame to be directed at Republicans, too, for not being more effective in combating the flim-flammery. But, hey, people are falling for this all the time, lest we wouldn't have the state that we have. Jamie in the South Loop.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi. I was just calling in response to Melissa. I'm also a business owner, and I just wanted to say that it seems like she is overvaluing the value of a college education. If she's been out of the workforce for 12 years, people today who graduate from college don't know anything about what position they're going to be taking it's all learned on-the-job experience. I think you said that, Dan, but she seemed to not understand that as well as someone who's been working and sees these adjustments in the workforce compared to what it might have been 12 years ago.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jamie. Right. I mean, here's the other thing too. She was projecting out her salary based on CPI over the years, Consumer Price Index. Indexing her salary for that over the last dozen years. Well, guess what? There's a lot of people whose salaries haven't kept up with CPI or even our marginal inflation. That people have lost ground over the last 15 years. That's real too. Lee and Hammond, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi. Again, I don't understand the lady's argument either, because anybody in an HR department's going to understand what the going rate was for a given skill set 10, 15 years ago versus today.
Yeah.
And you're also going to look at the pool of active employees and compare, whatever salary is requested versus what the current pool is of people that are doing that job.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the call, particularly in our Obama part-time economy. Sean in Elmwood Park.
Owners get to evaluate employees. They say the compensation. You don't get to say the compensation. How about a Range Rover, honey? Why not legislate a Range Rover? See, that is absolute and total socialism, where the people decide to pay, and the people who own the company really own nothing. And that's what this law is. It is about using legislation to seize the property of the owner, of the private property. One of the sticks in the bundles of rights is the right of exclusion. If you take away my right of exclusion, whether that be exclusion of a pay salary or exclusion of access to the job, I don't own the company. You do. The state does. And that's what Illinois wants to do.
All right, Sean.
Nationalize and control every business.
Thanks. Gary in Jefferson Park.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. How are you?
Hey, good.
Good.
First time calling in. Actually, just want to put in some comments. I hold multiple degrees, but without the experience, I chose to go for whatever options that were available to finding a job. So just on your previous callers that have a set salary before they even apply, I think that's kind of out of the question when you really should bring in as much income as possible, even if it means starting from a lowest tier possible.
Thanks for the call, Gary. Appreciate that. Appreciate that perspective. Thanks for being a first-time caller. Diane, Buffalo Grove.
Hi, good morning. Unfortunately, with great certainty, I can tell you in the state of Illinois, the day you're over 40 or 45, your salary in Illinois plummets if you've been out of the job at all. I'm in my 50s, and I might have had a very significant 6-digit salary. To save my soul, to get an interview is murder. And that individual will gladly find that people who are 28 to 32 will have salaries that will exceed hers. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how it's the reality out there.
Thanks for the call, Diane. Appreciate it.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Culture is everything. When a nation replaces individual rights and the rule of law with silly-hearted, value-free multiculturalism, freedom dies. Last week's terrorist attack in Paris is another awful reminder of how this plays out in practice. Trying to cure a sick culture is like being in the throes of Italian fever. By the time the symptoms show, you're a goner. So how do we give American culture a checkup as to our present ability to be both a free society and the greatest melting pot in human history? Last week's referendum in Turkey that codified Erdogan's authoritarian rule into law was a useful stress test. 97% of Turks are Muslim. Turks living in Germany and the Netherlands, two countries that pride themselves on migrant friendliness, voted 63% and 70% respectively in favor of the referendum, despite opposition from officer-friendlies Merkel and Rutte. By contrast, Turks in the United States, which isn't perceived to be nearly so migrant-friendly, particularly of late, voted 83% against the referendum. The lesson for healthy living? Acting like a doormat to dogmatic Islamists makes them more so, not less so. The prognosis for American culture on this score? A long life ahead. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab. I've seen the immune response increase. I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection, and I know that it works.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.